10:03 a.m. I'd like to move a leave of absence for Councillor Hancock for today. Do we have a seconder? Councillor O'Neill. Any opposition? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0, 8-0. Okay, moving on to confirmation of the minutes on the 24th of January 2024. Do we have someone to move? Councillor Guthrie.
Mr Mayor, I'm happy to, but I just would like to before I move it, just ask that we look back at look at page 8. I'm just a little concerned that we may need a more clarification, because our intention is not clear in that particular resolution. And I draw your attention to number 1, work with the Teal Bar community to design a directional property sign, including seeking formal property owners' consent. The intent behind that was for the property owner's intent to be included on the sign, not for them to give permission or consent for us to have a sign erected. So I'm sort of just seeing that there's a little bit of a miscommunication in the intention.
So do you have suggested wording you'd like to move as part of moving the minutes with that?
I think in the brackets, I think it should be something like including seeking formal property owners' consent for their property name inclusion. On the sign.
Yeah, fair enough for you to carry out.
Yeah, through the chair, I think that's what the intent was.
That was what was the intent, but when you read it, it actually is suggesting that the property owners need to give permission for a property sign to be erected in the Teal Bar area.
So that was through the chair, that was the debate in the chamber, so if that doesn't alter the resolution, it just makes it clear.
So, Councillor Guthrie, are you happy to move with that amendment?
I'm happy to move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 24th of January 2024 be confirmed, incorporating the amendments as mentioned.
Okay, we have a second. Councillor Edwards. Anyone wish to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, moving on to 5.1, material change of use.
Mr Mayor, I've got to declare conflict.
Oh, okay, well, I've got to read it out first and then do that. 5.1, material change of use, transport depot, laydown yard, reference 2023/20909. Councillor McMullen.
Mayor, I'll move the conflict of interest in 5.1 as per last time. I'll leave the room while it's being discussed and voted on.
Okay, Councillor McMullen has left the room. Okay, so do we have a mover? Councillor Taylor.
I'd like to move that the development application for the material change of use for a transfer depot laydown yard located at Bungie Lane, Darby Road, described as Lot 2 on RP 908589 be refused for the following reasons. 1. The proposal conflicts with the strategic framework as A. The proposed development is not complementary to adjacent land uses and will impact the amenity of nearby sensitive land users. B. The proposed development is not for a home-based business. C. The proposal is for non-rural users in the rural land zone. Insufficient information has been provided by the applicant to demonstrate the use will not impact detrimentally on the local environment or landscape character. D. There is sufficient industrial land to support the proposed development in a more suitable zone within Roma locality. 2. The proposal conflicts with the overall outcomes B, H, K and P of the Rural Zone Code as A. The proposal is not associated with or ancillary to a rural activity. B, the proposal is not for a recreational or tourism activity and will create a land use conflict between industrial and rural and residential activities. C, the development footprint is located at property frontage and will impact nearby sensitive receptors. D, insufficient information has been provided by the applicant to demonstrate the activity is low impact and that any impacts can be adequately mitigated or managed. 3, the proposal conflicts with performance outcomes 1, 2, 12 and 24 of the Rural Zone Code as A, the scale of the proposed activity will detrimentally impact the amenity of the area. B, the location of the use is considered to prejudice the consolidation of industrial uses in the industry zone within the Roma locality. C, insufficient information has been provided that noise, air, dust, emissions can be appropriately mitigated or managed to prevent causing any ongoing nuisance to adjoining properties or sensitive land use. 4, the proposed development is not consistent with community expectations for development in the locality. The submitters have raised valid concerns associated with proposed development that warrant refusal of the application. 5, no relevant matters have been presented other than the applicant's financial circumstances to overcome the conflicts of the assessment benchmarks.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor O'Neill, does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
I do.
Please go ahead.
I do wish that I could make everybody happy. Of course, the reason I am going with the officer's recommendation is because it's the right one. Sadly, we have to take the emotion out of this decision and go with the facts. The development does not fit with our planning system of the Maranoa Regional Council, and we have to make the decision on our planning. Otherwise, what's the point of having our planning vision, and what's the point of having our planning officers give us advice if we don't take the advice? I do wish we had a better outcome for everybody, but I'm sorry we don't. We have to go with what our vision is for our Maranoa, and this is what our planning system has decided. This is what our vision is. It is for rural, and I do believe that this is the right decision to make today, so I'm going to back the officer's recommendation and go with that.
Okay, does anyone wish to speak against the motion or for the motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to speak. Although I agree with the applicants on certain points, there's a lot of points in the scheme that you have to agree with. We're sort of locked in. Personally, I don't necessarily agree with everything in the scheme, and I know that the applicants have been let down in the past from previous decisions and old planning schemes and in the areas down Dargle Road. But as it stands now, we've got to follow a set of rules, and I do understand the economic cost, and hopefully some way the council can help the applicant moving forward. There's still some inconsistencies with the scheme, with the home-based business one. To me, there's so many inconsistencies either side of the fence on that one, I think. But just with regards to the bus safety, I think there's already a bus safety issue there that needs to be looked at, regardless of whether this goes through or doesn't. I think there's a safety concern where the bus pickup point is, but very torn on this. But I just have to lean towards some key points in the planning scheme, which.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Guthrie.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I think this has been a well deliberated motion, and I do thank everybody who has taken the time to put submissions in, and we had deputations yesterday and did try to listen to, we had the paperwork, but we tried to listen to and be able to ask questions. So I think that was a very, very valuable exercise. We also did an on-site inspection that also helped to have all parties there. My big determination is, as has been said, about planning schemes, but it also struck me very, very much yesterday. There's a lot of families living in that part of our Maranoa area. There's a lot of young children. It's a place where people have chosen to go to live, and we're trying to then match people's lifestyle choices with encouraging economic development. And for me, the big one that I looked at was the future down the track, and knowing that there's more children catching buses and more families wishing to access lifestyle blocks. So after a lot of long and hard decision making, I do think we needed, what's determined my decision is the officers and their recommendations and their very, very full and comprehensive information, and it has been a hard decision to come to.
Does anyone else wish to speak?
I'll just say something. I feel comfortable to follow the officer's decision. Having said that, I can't vote for it, which is it's unfortunate. But I can't vote for it. But I do feel for all the parties involved here. It does not comply. But having said that, I can't vote for it doesn't mean that I agree with everything that's in the that's in the recommendation, of course. My biggest thing is I just find, and when I first read it, I just found that the development application I find is not consistent with the assessment benchmarks, and number one thing is I just can't believe, I don't feel that it can be conditioned, in my opinion, to overcome the fact that it's not a suitable zone, amongst other things. So there's many things in that decision, a lot of pages, a lot of reading, a lot to get your head around, but I'm sorry that I can't vote for it, but as I said, I feel for all the parties involved.
Does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
Through the chair, I'll be voting in favour of the recommendation today. I've been involved in a lot of planning decisions over my 12 years as a councillor, and I want to thank all parties involved for the frankness and how they've been upfront in putting their case, whether they were the applicant or the submitters against it. It has made my job as a decision maker all that little bit harder because we've had the individuals come to us and put their case, which isn't always the case when it comes to planning decisions. And so there are personal impacts to decisions that come before council, particularly involved with planning decisions. But for me, I've had to go back to what is the adopted planning scheme for our region, and it's been in place for nearly a decade now. This particular parcel of land is zoned rural, and therefore I can't support what the applicants have submitted to do on that land. But what's highlighted to me, and this isn't something for this council to consider, it will be whomever is sitting around this table for the next term, that it probably shouldn't have got to this point in the first place. And it is zoned a particular way, and the planning scheme is clear as to what happens on particular zoning for our scheme. And so I'd like to think that a future council will look at processes so that no one gets to this point and investments have occurred before a decision is made by council. And I thank everyone that has come and presented to council, but on this particular occasion I will be supporting the recommendation of the officer and not to approve the application.
Does anyone else wish to speak? I'll speak. I don't think that this will, I'll be supporting not approving the application, but I don't think it's a good scenario. I do wish that we could have gone back in time and made it much clearer. And I do like situations where we can try and come up with a solution that can hopefully work for everyone, and not in this case. And I totally feel for the applicant, and there is things that we need to improve on what council's done, but I don't think it's a reflection on anybody in particular. It's actually just how do we get the message across. I totally understand why people would think that this might go through, because there is a lot of historical land use that doesn't make sense if you do not approve this. But it is, historical, and we have a planning scheme now that puts things in different areas, and I understand with what Councillor Burkett's saying, that you can have a slightly different application and in a different scenario, and it might get over the line. So I think, I'm quite disappointed about perhaps the outcome of today, but I just wish could have wound back time and saved a lot of cost in doing that and getting that information out. But but I will be supporting, because we do have a planning scheme and we do have things in certain areas. But I would like to see a way that there is a way to solve other issues that that might be there to try and get some outcome for all parties. Okay, so does the mover wish to sum up?
Yeah, only to say that it has been a really hard decision, but as we've all said, we've really thought hard, and we do apologise to those that the outcome isn't what you wanted, but it is what it is. This is our planning scheme, and these are lifestyle blocks that that's why people have bought them, for the lifestyle, and this is our plan. This is why they bought them, for their lifestyle, and they are rural blocks. So it is a decision we've had to make today, and going forward, that's what it is. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? That's 7-0. Okay, moving on.
Page 98.
Page 98, Corporate Plan 2023-2028 edition. Do we have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move the council acknowledge resolution OM 2023-44. 2, adopt and include the following wording as part of the plan. A, introduce a variety of recreational and sports activities that promote physical health, mental wellbeing and social connectivity. B, design events and activities that are accessible to individuals with all abilities, ensuring inclusivity and participation across diverse demographics. C, establish partnerships with local organisations and external stakeholders specialising in sporting events. 3, update council's corporate plan and place on council's website accordingly.
Okay, well, Councillor Ladbrook. And does anyone wish to speak to the motion?
Just to say through the Mayor that this was obviously an omission from the original draft that went to council. It's been picked up by a community member that has been in and around council for a long time, and we should thank them for raising this and bringing it to council's attention, and hopefully having this in the corporate plan will empower the sporting groups across the region to use this when they apply for grants to advance their own projects relevant to their sport and own facilities.
Okay, no one else wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, moving on to page 103. Eight point one, the Big Rig Easter times. We have a mover, councillor Guthrie.
I'll ask you a question first.
Please go ahead.
The change is $2.
Yeah.
Why is it here?
Because you've resolved it, and that's been your practice throughout the term.
No, but why change it from $18
Oh, I
to
think
$16?
through the chair, I think the answer to that is that if it's the $18, by the time you provide two concessions, it's actually more expensive than another band. So I think the aim of the charging was to actually stimulate purchasing more tickets, and so hence the $16 allows that band to be more attractive than I think the family band. Oh, sorry. Actually, the officers are here, but it's the two prices. At $36, it's actually higher than another,
Which one?
the concession.
We have the officer here that
On your proof.
please go ahead.
Good morning, councillors. Look, in relation to the change, is that it relates to 1C, and what you'll see in your original decision was that in the last line, $18 concession. We're just asking you today to consider repealing that and amending it to change in the new recommendation, subsection C, to change it from $18 to $16. The intent was it was always meant to be $16 in the drafting of that previous one. It came out as 18. As the CEO just mentioned, if you were to book two normal concessions, it would equal $16, and we were worried that by uploading this onto the booking website, etc., that people would identify that it was cheaper to book two singles than a concession, and there may be some negative feedback that we were trying to trick someone, and so we just took it in the abundance of caution to bring it back today to have that changed.
So how do you mean if they book what?
Two concessions.
So in the current resolution, the concession in that combination would be $18.
Yes.
If you were to go online and book it in a single concession, a single one is $8, and so it would be cheaper to book it to equal $16 rather than.
Oh, if you buy one express entry to the Big Rig,
Yes,
and one express entry to the night show,
it would be a lesser.
would be lesser amount. I
And we were
understand.
concerned that, and the reason why we brought it today is because of the uploading onto the website, people are saying they're making inquiries and booking it, so.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the original motion was wrong, the amount was wrong. So
Just that one number.
yeah, the one number by $2. Councillor Guthrie.
But I'll read the whole lot out. How's that? I'd like to move that council repeal resolution number OM/01.2024/41 to read as follows. That council to amend the fees and charges schedule for public entry to the Big Rig from the 28th of March to the 1st of April 2024 to allow A, express entry to the Big Rig Tower and Tree Walk from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at a cost of $10 per adult, $8 concession, $7.50 child and $30 family, excluding the local residents, which will remain at $5 flat rate cost. B, express night show sunset experience at 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at a cost of $10 per adult, $8 concession, $7.50 child and $30 family. C, combination of the express Big Rig Tower and Tree Walk and express night show experience at a cost of $20 adults, $16 concession, $55 family and $15 child.
Okay, we have a second, councillor Burkett. Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, page 105. Item 8.2, amendment Sayard's Memorial Wall event. I would like to move that council, one, seek further consultation and feedback from people and families involved in Roma Sayard's Memorial Wall project. Consider a policy framework after the feedback has been received and reviewed. 3, develop an invitational list for unveiling of the Roma Sayard's Memorial Wall and work with Anne Prower regarding her feedback. 4, subject to the completion of points 1, 2 and 3, hold the unveiling of the memorial wall during 2024 on a date to be advised. You have a seconder?
I'd like to propose an amendment, Mr. Mayor.
Please go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, dot point 4, can we set the date at, I'm suggesting, moving, we set the date for 27th of February.
Yeah, no,
Unveiling.
okay, so I don't accept that amendment. So,
Just through the chair, if you were to retain the existing date, you wouldn't need to amend the resolution, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
okay, would you like to test that amendment, Councillor McMullen?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Righto, do you have a seconder for that amendment?
Can I ask what's the dates? What's the problem?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's the last chance for this council to be involved, and up to Anne Prower. That's the last workshop day, briefing day, and I've had a yarn with Anne Prower, and she's of the opinion we'll probably do it before the end of the thing. Anyway, she's having trouble contacting all the old people, probably won't find a lot of them, so she was said if it goes ahead, she won't be disappointed.
What about the sale in March?
Right?
There's sales in March before the end of the term.
Okay, well, let's do the amendment and see if it gets up.
We can one briefing day.
Yep. Just so through the chair, if just Councillor McMullen, if the current resolution, which states the date of 27th of February, is what you're supporting, then essentially what you would do is vote the appeal or the amendment of the resolution down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Rather than amend something that doesn't need to be amended.
But the mayor didn't say that date.
No, that's right. So the process that's happened is that you've got a item on the table that's about amending a current resolution, and then the council has intervened and said, well, I want to change the date, but the date's actually the original resolution, which can be voted up or down. Okay. So it doesn't necessarily need to be changed, if you understand what I mean.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the mayor didn't say amend resolution, did he?
Only in the title.
No?
Only in the title.
Amendment.
Yeah, but this is, I'm not putting a date on it, but let's test the amendment.
Should we work out the date? Because I thought we got rid of a briefing day.
I did.
So,
But the question is, if there's more time needed, rushing it for councillors' benefits is not what, but let's do it in the debate.
I've
And
just got a question.
please go ahead.
Can someone just confirm to me, are there sales scheduled for the 5th and the 12th of March?
yes.
They are, yep.
Okay, so do you have is there a second for the amendment to lock it in for the 27th of February?
Do you need a bit more time than that? Do you want to do it in March? If you still want to do it in this council? Or you're hell-bent on February?
That's the last. I don't think there's any more.
Doesn't matter if it's free. Like it can be any day.
Okay, well,
Do you want it for this council?
yes.
Yeah, we still
Okay, you
got
want it for
dates.
this council? Yeah. Let's,
27th, 5th or 12th.
I'll withdraw my amendment then, thanks.
Righto, we'll do the motion. Do we have a second for the motion?
Through the chair, yes, Councillor Ladler.
Okay, so I'll speak to the motion. I don't believe it's about individual councillors or a council. I believe it's actually about getting this right. I had feedback from a resident to not rush it. I don't think we should rush it because we may not be here in the future. I think we should actually do it We've put it in train. It is going to happen. Certainly been there where councillors that are not on council are invited for an opening. And I think that we should give it the time it needs. Our Sayard's manager then can work with interested people. There were other interested people that were involved, that wanted to be involved, and I think we need to take the time to make sure this is the best thing for the people of the Maranoa, not for us as councillors or a council. Does anyone wish to speak against?
I've got a question.
Please go ahead.
Through the chair, from last meeting to today, it's been 3 weeks. What communication has happened with Anne Prow in point 3 in relation to this, and is there any feedback that may help us in deciding what's before us today?
So through the chair, the officer is here and could answer that question.
Righto.
Is he online, is he? Is Daniel? Daniel?
Yeah,
Thank
so
you, Daniel.
I've been working with a number of people, and we've got the stakeholder meeting tomorrow as well. So that'll be another consultation opportunity. We're not quite there yet, but I'd expect the majority, if not all, of the consultation will be done next week, and then we'll need obviously a short or a reasonable period of time to give notice for the invites. I've been working with Anne particularly on a number of occasions to work on that invitation list, and I'm confident that we will get there in due course shortly.
Okay, please go ahead.
I just think there's no rush for this really. I think we should take our time. It's going to be up there for a long time. So it's got to be done properly. And I think if we take our time and get it done right, everyone will be happy. We don't have to rush it through in our turn, long as it's done properly.
Okay, so questions?
Yep.
Councillor McMullen, then Taylor.
And Mr Mayor, in light of what Councillor Ladbroke said, it's already up there. There's nothing more to do to it. It's only the invitations that's been the hold-up. The board's complete, ready to go. It's covered in plastic until whatever day we unveil.
Well, that's not really a question, that's more a statement. But you've spoken, please go ahead.
Daniel, is there any, like if we wanted it on one of the sales in March, pick the last one in March maybe, is that doable?
Yes, everything's possible. At this stage, 12th of March is a potential, but I'll be looking to confirm that early next week with a number of the sort of key invitees to make sure they're available.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak against the motion or for the motion? Okay, I will sum up. I agree with Councillor Ladbroke. It's not about rushing it. We also, like, if you give people more notice, there's more chance they can be at an opening. And some of the people I'm thinking about don't live here. They live away. So they may come back. If we only put on 2 weeks, then it might be difficult. So I think listen to the people that may have some interest in it, get that feedback and then make a decision. If it can happen early, great. If it can't, that's it's more important. And some of the suggestions that I've heard about just in general, I think would make it better and sort of, like we're not the holders of knowledge. We're also the conveyors of knowledge through other people. So I'll be supporting this change in this motion. So all those in favour? All those against? That's 5, so 6-2, if I'm all for a division. Okay, moving on. And we're
107.
107, thank you. 8.3, Maranoa Medical Bursary Retention Bursary. I'd like to move that council acknowledge resolution OM/01.2024/01 to acknowledge the successful recipient of the inaugural medical retention bursary endorsed by the panel and the Chief Executive Officer, Shireen Kumar. 3, provide another discretionary retention bursary for the amount of $20,000 to Sarah Paget on the grounds that retention of both doctors in the region is an important economic and social objective for the Maranoa. 4, consider naming the individual medical well, I wouldn't say consider, I would say name the individual medical and nursery bursaries after prominent medical personnel who have served the Maranoa through the last 100 years to ensure a lasting legacy and build a reputation of the bursaries. We have a seconder, Councillor Edwards. Please go ahead.
So this is in addition to all the other money?
Yeah, and I can speak to that when we go to speak to it. Okay, I'll speak to it. We had a successful meeting with medical professionals, and it was extremely hard to split the obviously the two applicants that have been shortlisted, and I believe that we do not do this, and I know it is an extra cost which we'll have to sort out in our through our budget, but someone is going to be very disappointed, and it may, like the benefit to the Maranoa of doctors that want to be here, that's the recommendation if we can do it to do it. And I'm putting that up because I was impressed with both candidates. I also, the feedback was with point 4 was actually, it's also more prestigious if we name them after a, so it's like the John Flynn Award, So I think that's very important too. They also suggested that the standard for the 2 is not always, like that would only be if there was, like what we did with the other bursary with the school graduates, that we did more than the standard. So it's not saying forever 2 bursaries, it's saying in this year it was incredibly hard to split them and there was the value for the 2. So that is what this is about. So there will still be one, and this was the second one in this year. Yeah. So Councillor O'Neill.
I've just got a amendment for you to consider for point 4, that it reads instead of what's there, so it'll be that Council 4 identify prominent medical personnel who have served Maranoa throughout the last 100 years as potential names for the individual medical and nursing bursaries to ensure a lasting legacy and build the reputation of the bursaries. That way, there's a number of names that'll go out and they'll come back to the council to consider. Otherwise, you're saying go and do it, but those names need to come back to a future council.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Is the second happy with that, Councillor Edwards? Okay, so that's the motion. Now, does someone else wish to speak?
Yeah, I'm fully in favour of this. I think it doesn't hurt to do 2 a year. I know on bursaries, the Nora fellow, I can say, if there's 2 outstanding candidates and, they're going to miss their opportunity, you can't really leave it a year later, so they put 2 through on their discretion. I think this is a good way too, because at the moment we can't afford to let a potential medical student walk through the door like a leave. So I think if we can get 2 through financially, we should. It's going to benefit the Shire.
Okay, Councillor Guthrie.
Just in terms of very similar to Councillor Burkett, this particular bursary or these series of medical bursaries were to future-proof the ability to attract and retain medical people into the Maranoa. So if we do have an opportunity and we see the possibility of not just retaining one but two, to me, it's very, very reasonable for the small amount of money that's being put out to then future-proof the Maranoa and our medical personnel in years to come.
Okay, councillor O'Neill.
I'm fully supportive of this and you know, how awesome it is that it's got to the point where you're splitting hairs over two very good candidates, right? So that speaks volumes to me and we should back it. I just think we are finding another $20,000 to do that. It would be really good to identify, as is common practice, where we're going to draw that money from if we're going to resolve to do that today. So I just wonder, is it possible, Mayor, just to lay this on the table later in the meeting to identify where we're going to...
It's written on the back.
No, that's from the previous resolution.
Oh, sorry.
From that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, all those in favour? Okay, 8-0. Righto, we'll keep going.
I thought that was what's covered.
10.1, Central Queensland Regional Water Assessment Stakeholder Advisory Group meeting 21st of February 2024. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move the council endorse the position of mayor as the nomination for council's representative on the stakeholder advisory group for the term of the Central Queensland RWA lifestyle 2 to 2.5 years to provide input and feedback into the assessment to be updated on progress. Endorse the mayor to attend the meeting on the 21st of February in Rockhampton, noting this is not a decision-making meeting. 3, acknowledge that the nominee position may be updated during the new council term at council's discretion.
We have a second, Councillor Ladbrook. Does anyone wish to speak?
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Have you ever been to one of these people?
No, this is a new thing. And there's only going to be one meeting and then be the new terms.
Was it last year or the year before they brought it in?
No, this is the first time I've ever heard
No,
of it.
but they talked about bringing it in.
Oh, they might, yeah.
So,
Government works slowly sometimes, so.
Sounds
So you-
interesting. How
So you and Edwina are going across to it though.
Not necessarily, I might join online, so we'll see. But I'll be doing the meeting.
Just if everyone else is in the room, it'd be really good to have the rep in the room for that first meeting, but
Yeah.
especially if there's ministers there.
Yeah. Righto, so no one wishes to speak, we're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0.
George. And she wants one. How much money do they?
Okay, page 113. 13.1, request for sponsorship sculptures Outback 2024. I'd like to move the council council sponsor of council approve the request from the Sculptures Outback Committee for their 2024 exhibition. Do we have any numbers or do we need to leave it? Yeah, please go ahead.
Can I just ask, so if this was to get up today, is that coming out of the 2024-25 budget or is it coming out of the 2023-24 budget?
Through the Chair, 23-24 budget, simply because the date of the opening of the exhibition is the 15th of June.
So my second
budget.
Thank you. My second question, so that's in additional to the $35,000 we've already committed?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, what's the other $35,000?
$15,000 for the conceptual plan,
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're
Yes,
right.
yes.
So,
10,000 and
Please.
10,000.
Please go ahead.
just receiving some information from Cindy. So there was $131,000, which includes the $15,000 that we added to sponsorship last council meeting. It's currently in the negative $3,666 due to Twin Turf works for Santos Festival of Rugby increased. So we can allocate some money from our ongoing assistance budget, which would take it to, we'd have $5,000 available for sponsorship. with requests that have come through, including Sculptures Outback for $20,000 and the Mitchell Bowls Club report, there's a request for $9,000. And the Roma Show Society have sent through a request for $2,000 for the show this year. So we've got a request of $31,000 with $5,000 available. Cindy said that potentially could increase the sponsorship budget by, if we wanted to sponsor all of these events, we would need $25,951. I do think there will probably be more sponsorship requests coming as we've got the shows and camp drafts and stuff coming up before the end of financial year. So say $30,000 needed for all sponsorship requests and potentially could come out from, allocate that at Q3 from salary cost savings.
Salary cost savings.
So through the chair, I did circulate some of Cindy's workings to you this morning, and it was really trying to get a feel for exactly how much we'd need, recognising that exactly as Georgie said, we will still get requests coming through for the next 2 meetings.
So when's the Sculptures Outback?
At the 15th of June to the 14th of September.
Right, so it is in this financial year. That's a bit of a bummer.
And when you said Roma Show for 2, is that their standard waiving of fees?
No, that would be for cash sponsorship. They've requested $2,000 and then they will.
Different thing, so it's cash.
Yeah, correct.
And just through the chair, we tend to get the Easter requests starting to come through now.
Yeah.
So, Georgie, with the sculptures, what's the total amount
So they've
they're requesting?
so they've requested $20,000 cash.
Yes.
$10,000 of that goes to the acquisitive prize that then stays on site.
Yep, so that's just 20. Yep, all up.
Yep, $20,000 cash. Then they request in-kind assistance for assisting with delivery of the sculptures into the park and removal of them after the exhibition. And then, as we resolved in late last year, the $15,000 for the conceptual, which has already gone through. So this
So
request is
35 and then 15 in kind.
No, just $20,000 cash in-kind assistance.
Has already been to the site.
And we normally do that, where we help them with it.
Yeah, and through the chair, what the officer's trying to suggest is that you'll need to add more to this motion because you'll need to top up the bucket basically for the amount that she suggested as a minimum, so that you can resolve that. So we did that last meeting. We've just got to do it again, which is essentially draw funds from reserves to top up the sponsorship budget. So it's a little bit round the other way, Kel. So it would be, how much was the amount? 29.5, was it?
So the request that we've currently got, $20,000 from Sculptures Outback, $9,000 from the Bowls Club, and $2,000 from the Roma Show. So there's 31 there.
And your recommendation, potentially you'll get another couple through. They're the only ones you know of at the moment.
And there won't be
So
a
you're
queue.
taking that out on wages?
Yeah.
And it's salary savings.
So can you help with some wording, CEO, if we're going to take it out of wages?
We draw an amount from cash reserves. You could put salary savings. It's essentially.
Because the $3 after the election, isn't it?
Yep. Draw an amount from cash reserves for the amount of, did we say what, 31,000?
Yeah.
So is that different to salary savings or?
Look, we can craft that in relation to the review. Draw an amount from cash reserves, the amount of $31,000 to move to the sponsorship budget GL 2887.2249 and allocate. Yep, okay, like that. To be reviewed. Yep, to be reviewed at the Q3 review in relation to current operational savings, because of course what we've got is an officer's recommendation that they could take it from there, but essentially there might be other areas that we look at that. But basically what this resolution is saying is just draw it out of your reserves, out of your bank account, so to speak, top up your sponsorship, then you can allocate that today over a number of requests that you've got. But we will review the Q3 budget in relation to operational savings. And I think probably the wording is current operational savings rather than just say salary savings, because yes, we will have salary savings, but at the same point we also may have further savings, and that can be a discussion with council as to, where they want us to take it out of.
So that would just do the 3 requests that we've currently got. So
Yes,
any
that's
future
right.
requests.
Yep, and so whether council wants to top that up a little
So
bit.
maybe we need to make it 50 or something.
Yes, and
And then we won't be coming back to it
Yep.
this term, hopefully.
yes. Righto.
Righto. Okay, so if we get it up on the screen, I'm happy to move that. We need to put the amount in for sculptures out back.
Yes, you do. And then the balance of that resolution, which was approved, sponsor the 2024 Sculptures Outback event to the value of $20,000. Sure. Right. And then you don't need 3. Yeah. Shifts. Change. Except for the fact that you had your GL number. Sorry, Kel. Apologies for that.
We need a little bit of break. Yeah.
With review at the Q3 review in relation to current operational savings.
Yes.
Do we expect that we're
Yeah,
going to have?
no, they've got, yeah.
There's
The
plenty
director has identified some.
that there will be savings.
Yeah, through, they're talking about wages, but as the CEO said, it might be other ways to do it as well.
Okay.
So they're keeping it broad.
It's definitely current, it's not future.
Yeah, no,
Definitely.
but the Q3 will be done after the election, so. Is that finished?
Yes. Probably through the chair, Kel, approve that it might be number 1, draw the amount of 50,000 from cash reserve to the sponsorship budget, and then 2, approve the request, and then 3, sponsor the approve the request from the Sculptures Outback Committee for the 2024 for the amount of $20,000. The amount of $20,000 from the sponsorship budget GL 288 7.2249. And that just sequential, if everyone's happy with that.
Okay,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks. Probably got
Yeah,
that.
2249.
Is there anyone taller that wants to swap a seat?
They do have gas down the bottom.
Yeah, they
But you have to get off them to.
every 2 minutes I'm going to keep lifting this one up.
Yeah. Is that the
Has
reason
anyone
I'm
got
getting
a
smaller?
cushion? Anyone got
Oh, I noticed you shifted yours.
The high chair.
or Councillor Burkett, would anyone have one?
No, it's all right, I'll swap it to bacon.
His car or something?
Sorry, everyone.
Poor little man.
Things are being short.
People have lower chairs so they can
I've got long legs, so it'll be right when I'm up.
okay, so, right, so that's the top there, Kel.
Right.
Thank you. That council draw the amount of 50,000 from cash reserves to the sponsorship budget, G288, GL 288, dot 2249 to be reviewed,
Sorry, 2887.
sorry, 2887 dot 2249 to be reviewed at the Q3 budget review in relation to current operational savings. Approve the request for Sculptures Outback Committee for 2024 Sculptures Outback event and sponsorship for the amount of $20,000 drawn from sponsorship budget GL 2887.2249.
Second.
And I'm just going to put one more thing in there, and that is investigate a camera that can document the amount of visitors to the event, which will be used for promotional and grant purposes, for the future.
With a report to come back to council.
Yeah, I'm happy to second it, but can I just maybe query the camera and say electronic device, because sometimes they'll have a different way that you actually clock in.
Well, it's just a camera, you'll see all the ants coming in and out and that. I don't mind.
Or electronic.
Yeah, I'm happy to put that in. Camera or electronic device, because, and I'll speak to it.
Mayor, do you think just the event rather than the amount of visitors, because it might be good to capture the actual people setting it up?
Oh, yeah. That's good.
If you have it just for...
Yep, the amount.
Could be numbers too, not...
Yeah. Document the event.
The event.
Will be used for whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so the second, happy with that? Righto. So I'll speak to this. I actually, in my opinion, this is the top performing pound for pound event that we have in the Maranoa as far as growth every year, accessibility, no cost to the community, no cost to the residents and visitors. And as we've all seen, it gets visited day or even night time. Seen people out there with their mobile phone cameras having a look. So this is an incredible thing for the Maranoa. And I think that if we can document how many people go, it'll probably access a lot more funding, because it is actually probably outperforming what we think it is. So that's one that this event, and the earlier we make the decision, the earlier they can promote it. So I think we need to sort of start getting 12 months ahead with this, so people are planning further and further ahead. So I'd like to thank all the committee members, all of the volunteers. It's a wonderful thing, and it's great to see people using it day or night, stopping, raving about it, and also something that might, for everyone's benefit, is that the sponsorships we give, most of that is actually about getting art out of it, because the art stays generally in the region, like it stays basically for council somewhere. So we're actually probably very cost effectively buying art that people enjoy, and we've mainly been involved with the prizes that the people pick sometimes. So I think, or the local prize. So I think this is probably on behalf of the residents, some of the best money the council spends supporting this event. Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Guthrie.
I was happy to actually second it, because I believe that this request for an additional $10,000, it's very encouraging to know that we intend to and are able to provide the additional money in relation to current operational savings. So we're looking at the current term and saying we are acknowledging that savings have been able to be achieved through the organisation, and we're able to redirect them into other worthy projects. So very happy to second this one.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
I'm happy to support this. I assume there, when you said there's no cost, you mean admission.
Admission, yeah.
Because there is a cost to the rate base in investing in this, but I think the dividend is large. The PR that this particular activity that occurred when it occurred last year, with the stories on national news as well as Landline, meant that it was putting our region on the map. And I think that's wonderful, not only to attract sculptors from right across the country, but to showcase what we have here. From a local level though, what it's doing is further improving the aesthetics when you come into town. And for a long time, people have talked about how not as appealing coming in from the east is. Well, that's changing now, and as the sculptures continue to grow in volume, that is only going to get better. And of course, as we've discussed here, when previous topics have come before us in relation to Sculptures Outback, their vision is to see those sculptures continue to grow right across the region, and I think that's a pretty good outcome for the investment that we're making on behalf of the rate base. And of course, we are a huge region for tourism, and the months that they've chosen from June until September is prime tourism season. And if we're snagging these grey nomads and tourists that are coming through in their caravans and camping one extra night in our communities, that has a real domino effect in our broader economy and broader community. So I'll heartily support this. When you look at it in a dollar value, you think, yep, that's a bit of an investment, but when you see the return that it's clearly having, I think we're getting bang for our buck. And again, they picked a wonderful date of the 15th of June to kick it off, which I'll be happy to celebrate my birthday out there, so happy to support.
Councillor Burkett.
First, I'd just like to acknowledge Councillor Neil's 50th birthday. I think also, just want to follow on from Councillor Neil's words there, but I think it is,
Got more hair.
yeah, wiser. Economic stimulus that does provide to the region is fantastic, and I remember when they first came to us, and I don't think they probably realised how quickly it would grow, but and we have some awesome local talent, which we're blessed enough to have some of their sculptures at Bassett Park, at the Mitchell Memorial Park, and hopefully there's more. The scary thing is that the better they get, the more it's going to cost us to keep them. But I think it's going to benefit everyone, and hopefully everyone in every small township in the Shire gets a taste of some of their work. And I think it's a great initiative, and definitely going to boost the area financially. So fully support it.
Okay, and does anyone else wish to speak? Okay, I'll sum up. Yeah, I agree with all the comments. I really think the camera or electronic device, if we actually document all the people that come, we will have a great application to be able to get national funding, I believe, because it'll be even great if we knew where they come from, because they're travelling all over Australia and seeing it. So looking forward to having this happening, because we're sort of flying under the radar with the amount of people that go there, but we all know because we all see it. So on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. What time do we have to be at?
It's 06.
Is it 10:15?
Through the chair, 10:15.
Right, we'll keep going then.
Yes.
Where we got to go to, but
Where we're going, just over the QCW.
Yeah, but it's 10:15, we've got a break, apparently. 13.2, Waroo Capital Works Begonia Camp Project. Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'm happy to move it. Just being a public, being an open document, I'd just like to correct something. The director may not be aware of this, but the accommodation unit shown in the photo was not gifted to the SES. That was given to the SES because they were actually gifted a donga from the local gas company, and a former councillor, a council staff member, took that away and put it in one of our camps, and subsequently got sold. So I'm not having a go at you, but so the council resolved at the time to bring this one back. I'm happy to move.
Yeah, I've got a question. We'll go ahead first.
I just wanted to know, this is money you've got left over. Is that what it was?
Yes, that's
How
right.
much did you have to start with?
25,000.
Okay. But everything that you were supposed to do at Begonia happened?
Just to clarify, we've got a majority of things done, but we'd like to put a new toilet and shower block in. But we found the changes to legislation, we couldn't do that with the recent change in legislation, so we've shelved that project for now. So we'd
So
like,
will you have enough money to do that for them? Or are you going to use it all?
well, we actually just deferred that project because it's a planning issue. So we're going to use this money. My proposal is to use this money for urgent works on the other camps, councillor.
So Begonia will miss out?
Not exactly. No, we'd like to down the track spend more money because the roofing. A lot of these camps actually need roofs open as well. So it's about just making sure these assets have the proper asset management plan in place. A lot of these issues were short term, where we wanted to get, because we had a massive QRA program this year. Everyone was using the camps. We found and we went in there and looked that there were maintenance issues that had to be corrected straight away. So we allocated some money. But long term, 5 to 10 years, we need to look after these assets. So long and short of this, we'll continue to invest in these Begonia, Dunkhill and the Surat SCS camp.
But it was Begonia Camp project that you had $25,000 for,
Correct.
is that right?
Correct.
And now you're saying you had money left over, but Begonia didn't get all that they were supposed to get.
So
Am I right? Is that, I just don't understand.
it was more just what we tried to do was actually, we got a majority of the asset projects done at Begonia, but we found that due to the building changes this year, where accessibility and so forth changes, we couldn't put in a toilet and a shower in the Begonia camp. We wanted to, but I think that that budget has exceeded this particular budget, and we need to go back and get another capital budget to put in or to upgrade that facility again.
Okay, thank you.
So this is the workers' camp for our own staff that we're
Yeah, I know what it is.
No,
I'm
that's
just
good.
Taking the money from Begonia and they haven't finished the job.
No, that's right. But I would imagine, Director, you'll have it on your radar and it'll be in the future one because you need a fair bit more money because of the planning's changed.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, a lot of these camps we just came across. They were handed over to us at the local area. We found some deficiencies. We put a bit of money in just to make sure, like gas, hot water systems weren't working. Shower and toilets weren't working. A lot of the fridges weren't working. So we went there and did some quick fixes. We allocated some money, but in terms of our asset management planning for the 5-10 years, we still need to invest in these facilities. The main one being that they have water ingress over, because they're flat, they actually need a cover over them as well. So we'll continue to do that over the next 5 to 10 years in line with our asset management strategy.
And so through the chair, these camps are for council staff and contractors.
Absolutely, yes, that's correct, CEO. Yeah.
I understand all that. I just, when it said Begonia Camp project, and then you're taking away from that, but you haven't actually finished their project.
Because there's not enough money
Essentially.
through the chair.
Yeah, there's not enough money.
Yep.
So instead of asking for a bit more money to do their project, you're taking money away from it.
Yep, and through the chair, it might be $100,000 extra.
To
that you
do
might
the,
have.
to do the,
Yeah, that's
So therefore
That's
they'll
what I'm
come back to
Yes,
the
sure.
budget next
yeah,
year.
that's why I'm asking how much money did they actually have to start with?
Sure.
Councillor McMullen.
I'd like to move that Council 1 approve the transfer of remaining funds, $7,500 excluding GST, from 2023-24 Capital Works budget, Begonia Camp, facilities upgrade, work order 24527 to new project, Surat SES Camp renewal project. 2, approve the transfer of remaining funds, $7,500 ex-GST, from 2023-24 Capital Works budget, Begonia Camp, facilities upgrade, work order 24527 to new project, Dunkhill Camp upgrade project.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Burkett. Does anyone wish to speak to the motion?
Mr. I think this is great that we can keep our assets maintained, but also it does go towards keeping our workforce too. If they got better camps to stay in, like I know it's a big battle with oil and gas at the best of times, but if we can keep up to standard with the camps, well, that's another little tick to keep them. So fully supported.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? I'll speak. This is a classic case of how the local boss works in our different areas, going back to operating locally. We've got our director for Waroo that looks after the Surat and areas around the old Waroo area, and the directors, brought to our attention as they've been fixing things that we've got deficiencies. As it was said, the hot waters wasn't working, things, fridges weren't. So obviously what we do in this case is, if it's a small amount of money, we may use a smaller amount of money, we use it for another project. But the great thing is the directors will have it on their radar as the local boss, and how do we get our camps up to a good standard to look after our staff that live in the camp. So I know I've spoken to other directors in the directorate, and they're focused on their camps, and even things like satellite television, which if people are away from home, now that's sort of something that a lot of people would like to see at night time. They can contact their family. So, this is an example where this money's getting redirected, but the reason that we're working on these things is we're very lucky to have our local boss focused on it. So I'll certainly be supporting this motion, and know that the bigger amounts that haven't been done for Begonia Camp will come around in the budget, as we do every year. So does anyone else wish to speak? And does me wish to sum up?
No, thanks, Mr Mayor.
We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, well, it's 8.
Morning, Ted.
Morning too. We might break. It's only 1 minute until we're supposed to be there. Go on with the meeting. So
1, 2, 4.
thank you. 14.1, material change use extractive industry up to 300,000 tonnes per annum. Reference 2023/2095. I'd like to move that this lay on the table till later in the meeting to be able to hear from the officer about some queries. All those in favour? 8-0. Righto, moving on. (14.2) Material change of use, intensive animal industry, 1975 standard cattle units, environmentally relevant activity, ERA 2 1B, and caretakers accommodation, reference 2023/20838. Yeah, Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'll move that the development application for material change of use for intensive animal industry, 1975 SCU, ERA 21B, and caretakers accommodation at 5960 Mount Abundance Road, Mount Abundance, Queensland 4455, property described as Lot 21 on SP 132318 be approved with the amendments to item 27, line item 27 now is the Mount Abundance Road pavement in front of the house located at 5544 Mount Abundance Road, Mount Abundance, Lot 19 on WV 853 shall be upgraded to comprise a bitumen seal 6 metre wide pavement on an 8 metre formation for a distance of 500 metres either side of the house. The minimum pavement depth in this section is to be 200 millimetres.
So this is a different one than the recommendation.
Yes,
we just changed that one thing.
The recommendation conforms with our policy.
Come from the Deputy Director.
Yeah.
This one came.
Yeah.
Well, he's advising.
Okay, so we haven't got planning here at the moment to ask. So is that the officer's recommendation?
Yeah.
That's the officer's recommendation.
That's what we discussed it yesterday. Look, the difference is it was 100 metres either side of the house, and the residents asked for it.
So through the chair, our standard policy is 100 metres either side of the house, and Councillor McMullen's making an amendment to increase it to 500 metres.
Okay, righto. we have a seconder for that. Councillor Burkett, does the member wish to speak in relation?
Mr Mayor, I think this amendment to the additional length of seal will help dust-proof the residents on that property at 5544 Mount Abundance Road.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Does the mover wish to sum up?
No, thanks, Mr Mayor.
We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0.
Conflict here.
Okay, thank you. 14.3, Bassett Park Hire Agreement, Roma Campdraft Association. Councillor Ladbrokes.
I have conflict with item 14.3, the description Bassett Park Hire Agreement, Roma Campdraft Association, declaring councillors, myself, Councillor Ladbrokes, person with the interest in a related party is my wife Alana. Particulars, got a duck there. Sorry, mate. Oh, off the top of your head. Can't quite make it out. Particulars of interest. My wife is president of the Roma Show Society, and the group has a user agreement with council for the use of Bassett Park, and the type of conflicts is a declarable conflict of interest, and the action I'll take is leave the room while the matter is being discussed and voted on.
Okay, Councillor Ladbrokes has left the room. So, as I've said, does anyone wish to move on that? Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'll move that Council 1 enter into a non-exclusive hire agreement with the Roma Campdraft Association for the use of Bassett Park for a period of 5 years from the date of the resolution. 2, confirm that the campdraft hire fee be as per Council's fees and charges adopted for each financial year, excluding any additional fees for camping on site. 3, invoice the Campdraft Association with the cost of electricity used during the event. And 4, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to execute the hire agreement with the Roma Campdraft Association.
We have a seconder. Councillor Guthrie. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 7-0. Get Councillor Ladbrokes back, please. Okay.
Anyone using that chair?
Well, you got a dodgy one.
I think let's rotate it. No one wants it.
It was when that photo was on, it got swapped over, I bet you.
Yeah. I've jacked it up, but it didn't. That's better.
On Higgins, I'll say, oh, you can.
Right,
Thank you for coming.
And you made me a new circle of councillors.
Yeah, maybe all different.
Knights of the Round Table.
Okay. Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks, mate, for helping me across the road.
Easy, I'll send the bill.
Okay, trademark, 14.4, trademark grade artesian. Councillor Ladbrokes, Councillor Burkett.
Two ways I want to go about it. I spoke to Jeff Watson, former Bringa CEO and founding director of the Bringa Enterprises that put this in place. His suggestion was to not to let go of because it's too big, it's too close of a leap to the Great Artesian Spa. But I think I'd like to lay it on the table so we can get more information on what that entails, or less Leah might be able to help us with that.
Yes, through the chair.
When council decides to defend the mark, we need to prove that we've used the mark in relation to the production of the beverages. Because we haven't, we're only going to be, it's very unlikely that we'll see. There is an option to apply for
a trademark grade artesian in another class that suits the spa.
Okay, so did you see that?
I didn't read all that.
There'll be an opportunity to trademark grade artesian in a different class relation for swimming pools.
Yeah, that's the one we need to do.
What is the deadline on it before we have to make a decision? What's the court or the?
20th of February.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it has to be done today.
So through the chair, what the officer is saying is that council can still decide to challenge the application, but you're saying that we don't have a strong case simply because we haven't used the trademark since about 2000 or something?
Yeah, 2000. So,
and there is the ability to apply for a subclass of trademark.
yeah, I've sought legal advice, and their advice was that we do not challenge the mark in classes 32 and 33 with the production of the beverages, and that we make the application for class 50,
41.
41.
Just with that, and I know it's probably not on this council's wavelength, but it was a big thing back in the day when it was in production. I was involved in that, but is it something that if we choose, or the next council choose to look into it and to do it again, does this inhibit us from doing that?
Three years, we're going to lose for the alcohol, for this one.
We're going to lose it anyway.
Yeah.
So the only thing would be, Councillor Burkett, if, say, the spa decided to do a product, even if it's low volume, don't sell everywhere, but just say they make a drink or something, then it could be a way to defend it, but you have to use the mark to be able to defend it. So if they say, yeah, we're going to do a low volume drink with it, then that would be all right. But if no one's, like, you just can't defend it if you're not using it.
No, and that's totally fine, but the closing date is the thing that's going to...
Well, then if you want to do something, put it into for the swimming pools, put it into that one, into the different mark, unless Springer Action could find some way to make a product.
Yeah, totally understand that, but is that going to... We haven't got the time to do that, have we?
Mr Mayor, it's not a matter of in the future, it's about you'd need to approve that it's used the grade artesian in respect to the above beverages during the 3-year period from the 20th of November 2020 to the 20th of November 23. So it's not about intention.
Yeah, it's
The
good.
horse is bolted.
Yeah. And look, through the legal advice is saying, it's not saying you can't, it's just what it's actually saying is you're unlikely to be successful, that the applicant who's made...
I do, like, is it something that's required?
Well,
in any way?
Oh, you mean if we do it anyway?
No, if we just let it go, I mean, is it required? Are we ever going to use it again?
No, but yeah, like it's not a big jump from...
Do it in a different class.
Yeah, totally understand that, but what I'm getting at is if we want to throw it across the bag to do that, we're not giving them any time to do it. Like, if it's a closing...
Well, they won't have any time.
No, what's the closing date? The 20th of February.
No.
Well,
You're saying for them to apply themselves?
Yeah, because they didn't know anything about this until I
Well, if they
spoke.
got the registration, like, they'll have to go pretty fast, because I don't know what the intention of is the party who is seeking this to have it done, like, who?
It's an Aboriginal.
It's another...
Yeah, but why are they,
For whatever reason.
why are they doing this?
They want to use the name
They
for
want the
something
show.
else.
So maybe they want to use the name, but if it's someone else who wants to have a crack at it, knowing that this is in open, it's available, the information is available.
But given they want the name from the particular category that is beverages,
Yes.
you'd assume that they're looking at manufacturing, producing a beverage.
Yeah.
Could be beer.
But as of today, though, we should trademark grade artesian in the pool category.
Yeah,
Like,
I get all that. I get all that, but it's not like we're giving no chance to the people that...
it might have gone though.
Yeah, I know that.
I was just going to say, we don't
Through
have
the
this
chair,
chance
you could make a case
Well, we can make
for the, for...
Can we get an extension?
Well, you could ask for that, and you could put up a case. But what the advice is basically saying is, by all means, you could put up a case, but it's unlikely that you'd be successful.
The point I'm getting at,
They'll be
to
successful.
the people that the community, because this was Bringer Enterprises was only dissolved when, just before amalgamation. It would have been still a community run, so similar to an offshoot to council, but it would have been offshoot to BAG. They've had no idea of this sort of thing, and this, that's what I mean, it's stamped into the community, or was, but they're potentially going to lose something that they didn't have any time to assess.
So we have a point 2, which is that council work with the Baringa Action Group to submit a application to re-trademark Great Artesian Basin if required. That way, we've given the support for council to work with them to do it. If they, Baringa Action Group, chooses not to, they don't do it, but at least we're trademarking Great Artesian for the
other
spa.
one. Yeah. But it gives them the opportunity, because the logical point is the Great Artesian Spa would be logical if they're ever going to do a drink, it'd come out of there.
Yeah.
Because it ties in.
Well, why don't we do both and just have, like, put it this way, we've run out of time. So if we have a motion that says, ask Baringa Action Group, is there any ability for them to do a drink? Because we do trademarks, and it's not as black and white as you won't be able to do it. There's lots of things.
But that's it,
are in there.
That's the 2. Work with BAG to see if they want to do it. If they do, we work with them to trademark it for that category of beverages.
Yeah. So basically, if we say, yeah, we will defend this, because we need to put in the motion if they have a plan to do a drink, because if they can't do a drink, she's over.
Well, they've got a meeting tomorrow night, so it's still within the time.
And if they don't, then you go to class 41.
Well, I think we need to do that anyway.
We do 41 anyway.
But subject to notification after general meeting tomorrow on the 15th of February.
You can go directly to the trademarks website. You'll go to the trademark website, you can see who's already, if they've already registered for this.
Yes.
If they've already had a crack at it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple without going through a solicitor.
That's right.
You can just have a search on it and just see if it's coming up.
Correct.
And if it's gone, if it's already gone, well, it's gone. I mean, these people have already put their application in, probably. And so this is the point at which they're going to be given this. Once this non-use comes up, that's when they'll get it. That's my understanding.
And they wanted 32 and 3.
They want 32 and 33, but you don't know how far down the track they've gone.
Yeah, but
Now, they might be well advanced, that's all I'm saying.
But the debate's really, through the chair, around on the table at the moment, the debate is centring upon whether you make a challenge or not. The reality is,
We haven't got any text to stand.
that doesn't stop you from making a challenge. It just is that you'd have to put a submission in, and
They're not going to let us have it because it's already...
the new applications.
But yeah, councillor, I think it's still fair to give it back to the community group that was involved with it initially.
Yeah, you'll let them
give them that
have it.
opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
But based on the information provided in the report, we have not met the threshold to challenge the removal, right? So we should not challenge the removal, number one. Number two, we should work with the Baringa Action Group and subject to them saying, yes, they want it or no, they don't, submit a further application to re-trademark it into those categories. And number three, trademark Great Artesian for category 41 for pools.
Yeah, but hang on. But anyway, we'll test something. But I don't agree with that because council owns the trademark and someone is saying you're not using it, we want it removed. But we're in the box seat at the moment. So if Baringa Action Group say, no, we don't want, and it's not, you can't say, oh, we haven't used it, so we'll lose it. Like,
but that's the advice in the report.
But when you own a trademark, you have more protection than that. You can say, no, we haven't used it, but we are going to use it now. And Baringa Action Group may not be interested in using it. But if they do want to use it, and remember, it could be low volume usage of it, give them the opportunity, but having the motion to apply for trademark 41. Because when you apply for trademark 41, you are coming in green, and there might be many others that might be, because they do a search of all similar trademarks and that, right? So you actually have something at the moment, and what I'm saying is that ask Baringa Action Group, and we can put it all in the one motion, ask them, And if they want to use it, then we should defend it. If they don't want to use it, go to class 41. But you may not get class 41.
Well, we've already got, that's basically what that says. Work with Baringa Action Group to submit an application to re-trademark a grade artisan if required.
Yeah, but it says does not challenge.
No,
So-
we're not going to challenge it.
No,
Through
what
the
I-
chair, that's the debate around the table as
Yeah,
to.
we've got to work
We've got
out.
no grounds to challenge.
Yes, we have.
Yes, you have.
Not based on the
You own
information in the
trademark.
report. We own the trademark, but we don't meet the threshold to having used it between the dates in which they've specified.
Yeah, but
But no one even knew about it.
No one has, as you just said, produced this order since 2020.
people own trademarks that they protect and don't use and still protect. They own them for years, and then
It says that we have to prove that it's been used during the period from November 20 to November 2023.
Yeah.
We have to prove that it's been used.
How do you prove
Yeah,
that?
what is it, what do you think?
Just.
Find an old bottle.
We haven't used it, so if we haven't used it, have we lose it, have we lost it?
That we will be successful.
That's right.
It's the water coming out of the bore in Mitchell. We use it every day. Just
Look,
because they
through
need
the
to stick it
chair,
on it.
it's not as black and white as that. Is you can make a submission. Is it likely to, is the applicant likely to be successful at taking that trademark off you? Probably highly likely, but it doesn't stop you from making a submission.
I just think it's fair, definitely to take it to the meeting tomorrow.
100%.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Correspondence. But then
The second
after,
thing is protect what you can, either protect what you can, but also have a backup plan.
well, just say, don't worry, they're not challenged. Whether you bring it to the meeting tomorrow
are you
night.
happy to move
Yeah,
something?
hang on, subject
the
to
support of Baringa.
their sport, then defer back to the original one saying not challenged. But I think they have to be told, so we don't make a decision until tomorrow afternoon at their meeting. If they say, no, we're happy, well, then it's deferred back.
You word up what you suggest.
Jeez, of course, I'm a bird.
I know what you mean. So that council's subject to the support of the Baringa Action.
At their meeting
Make
on
a
the-
submission.
At their meeting on the
In
15th.
relation to the Great Artesian trademark.
Subject to advice from the Baringa Action Group, post their next general meeting, submit an application to re-trademark Great Artesian Basin in categories
32
whatever
and
the
33. Class 32, 33.
Anyway,
Hey?
see what happens to it.
We don't need
Can I-
to retrade something.
Oh, not re-trade, submit an application to challenge
Yes, that's right.
the
The current trademark
current
registration.
application, current
Trademark
trademark
registration.
group.
Or whatever.
So councillor Burkett's moving his motion, and then we'll test the motion. Do you have a question?
No, I would like to make a suggestion to councillor Burkett for his motion. Would you like to actually say that if the costs involved a $450 application fee and $250 to apply for class 41, do you want to actually put in this that we're going to provide a dollar value of $700 and determine where the money's coming from to assist BAG, should they wish to apply for the
No, to us apply.
class 41?
See how things.
Maranoa Regional Council.
So that's why we're the ones who have to provide the money, but I'm saying, do you want to put a dollar value, a monetary value, in the...
Well, they need to know that. They'll need to know that if we're going to apply.
Well, they'll
for
need to know that we've committed money, should this be successful, I would think.
I think that fee's only if we put the 41 in, isn't it?
That's what she's talking
That's
about.
what I'm talking about. So we're preparing ourselves that should we wish to apply, that we've actually got the funding approved through...
Because this won't be back in time for another meeting.
No, really.
Just an email to Leah.
And just through to the trademark application, because it's not an approval. It's an application.
So the first line, councillor Burkett, are you providing Baringa Action Group want to keep it and will use it? You're putting that first line is that you'll defend this.
Yeah,
correct.
Until if they say no tomorrow
No, then
night.
it's gone.
Yeah.
Through the chair, just based on that, would you prefer submit a defence for the current trademark, Great Artesian? Because that's what you're trying to do, saying you're defending your trademark.
And that will have to be what you do in the future as well, because the
So I just,
trademark and patent attorneys actually do this all the time, so.
But shouldn't we though, in fairness, it's subject to whether the Baringa Action Group actually want to produce the water, right?
Correct.
So that's in the wrong order now, subject to a submitted defence. No, we want to make sure BAG want to do it, because if they don't,
Then
we should be good enough that the GAB is a big part of Queensland. If there is another entity that wants to make some money off selling water or beverages, well, we should let them do it and not hold it for that category. But if BAG want to do it, we should absolutely defend it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have some...
Just so councillors know, when you try and get a trademark, they're very cautious about what they give you. So you really want to think about this in the big term. Baringa Action Group applied for 41. Just because you had another category doesn't mean you're going to get 41, ever. So what I'm saying is, but obviously you can't keep a trademark if you don't use it. But there's Coca-Cola somewhere in the world's not using a trademark, but they still own it. But,
Say something?
yeah.
Kel just said,
I've just looked up here, right on Australia, IP Australia. The words great artesian, classes 30, 32 and 33. So 30, 32 and 33. Says the owner is Gulf Regional Economic Aboriginal Holding Limited is trustee for the Gulf Regional Economic Aboriginal Trust. That's what it says here.
So it's not
that's
Maranoa at all?
oh, that's
No, so that's...
No, but you might have multiple owners for a trademark, like because it's historical.
IP, it's on the IP website. It's telling us for 30, 32 and 33, the owner is this
Yeah,
Aboriginal one.
but do we
So if we're
do
gonna
a
defend
trademark
it,
for that?
They have ones that are,
We got to know if we can.
So there's a
Like, I
removal
don't think we can.
yeah, that's correct. So they may be challenging.
Can we just let the officer just explain that?
Yeah.
So the group that you just mentioned, they are challenging, they are wanting to.
Yeah,
So it says they're the owner on there, Leah. It says they're the owner on IP.
Already.
Already. So when we defend it,
Well, we are the current owners of.
yeah, because there's different
32 and
trademarks,
33.
Councillor Edwards.
no, it says 30, 32 and 33.
No, but you can have different trademarks because how you get prove ownership is either you register it or you've had previous use of the trademark. So it gets complicated. So multiple people can own a trademark or have parts of a trademark. It could be one word difference. It could be, and they wouldn't be contacting us if council did know it. Have you been advised? Is it still current?
So, Councillor Edwards has got it down black and white. That it's the
Yeah,
great-
but it's not just the one trademark.
It's the great RT name, great
anyway, I'm
artesian
going off the legal advice
is the
there.
word. We'll go for legal
So there's
advice.
a removal application
Because we're still
by
within the 20th.
Gulf Regional Economic Aboriginal Holding Limited, which expires on the 20th of February, and if we don't do anything, they'll make a
They're
determination.
waiting for us to come back and
Yeah,
they're waiting for
we've
that.
got till the 20th of February.
Correct.
We're just doing the right thing by the community. We're going to go back to them. If they want to challenge it,
I think we've got to find out if we can challenge it, whether it's defendable. I don't know.
Well,
The advice is saying that we don't have a good chance.
don't have a chance, so.
anyway, I'm sick.
Excuse me, but we do it, when is our trademark registered to?
Yes.
No, it's not.
It's,
You do them for
2030.
10 years.
30
2030.
registered for 30
And
years.
what,
so
oh, yeah,
it's
So
due to
when is the
expire.
expiry date of
8th
the
of
trade?
June 2030.
Right, so it's still registered,
According
Councillor
to
Edwards. It is still registered, right? Now, they want to remove that registration, but because,
For non-use,
yeah, but it's still registered. Council still owns the trademark till 2030, so it's not, like you don't look up and you go, we've got one name here that we don't have it. We're being written to because we have a trademark and they want to remove it, so.
they should update the...
No, but because it's very complicated, trademarks are very complicated things. Yeah, but anyway, so council owns it till 2030, and that's just a black and white fact, unless the IP Australia remove it because of non-use, which is what the Aboriginal company is trying to do.
We're not even mentioned on that.
No, but if you go in a different search, you will find it because.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're not
Anyway,
Australian government.
this one I'm having, then we'll just put apply to trademark great artesian for category 41. with the costs of $750, including for application fee, or you can do, the cost involved is $450 application fee
$700.
with $250 fee per class. Sorry, Kel.
700.
Yeah, but that's got two difference.
Yes, they were under examination.
So, sorry, Gulf Regional Economic Aboriginal Holdings Limited, the status for their trademark, Great Artesian, is under examination pending our response to.
Is it? Right.
Yes.
So council owns,
That's what I want to know.
Excuse me, Edwina, where
pending
would
our
we be
response.
putting the $700? Where are we dragging it?
Good
Take
question.
it out of your wallet.
I have to.
What about Green?
Can I ring my wife first? Because I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the cash.
Lou, do you have a budget line for legals, fees, any of those kind of things that we might have in general?
We do have a GL for legal.
Yeah.
Is there one that Kel's just merged that into one sentence there, and I think it's all right. Subject to advice. Submitted events if required.
Yes.
Happy with that?
Is everybody happy?
Just getting a GL number for you.
Just a GL number and we're good to go.
And if council's happy for us to go and get the GL number, we'll put it
I think
in.
Leah's just doing now.
And if we can just draw from.
Van, just getting it now.
Right,
So-
Ron.
Can I say something? So, say this happening, is there any other potential that we've got trademarked that this might occur again? That we should be on the front foot? That's all I'm wondering.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
Is there any out there, because if we want to keep them and we haven't been using them, you know,
Go away to the Outback's trademark.
it's, yeah.
well, so councillor Burke, are you happy to, councillor Edwards, to put a line in for us to check our others?
We do that.
Can we do it on this one? Is that?
Yeah, you
Sure,
can,
you could
yeah.
just see, you could receive a report to a future meeting in relation to all council trademarks or
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Because we're sort of,
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea, it raises the obvious, is what else don't we know about?
and are they being used?
yeah.
That's the big bit.
And usage, yeah.
Used is all different ways. It doesn't
Thanks,
have to.
Kel. Okay, well,
Current usage.
Yeah.
Righto.
it's making on the trades.
So 2506.2094.
Sorry,
2506.2094.
Thanks.
94.
Okay. I'd like to move that council, subject to advice from the Bringa Action Group following their meeting on the 15th of the 2nd, 24, submit a defence against the removal application of trademark Great Artesian if required. Apply to trademark Great Artesian for category 41 at a total cost of $700 drawn from GL 2506.2094 and be provided a further report in relation to all council trademarks and current usage.
I'll second that. Does the mover wish to speak to it?
Oh, I think we have spoken a fair bit about it, but I think anything that ties us to history in the community or things that were working in the past and for different reasons why they weren't still going, I think that if we can hang on to that and the potential use for further down the track, I think is a good thing. And I also think we owe it to the community and the people involved initially to give them a say in the matter whether we go ahead with it or not.
Councillor
Just
O'Neill?
make the suggestion after category 41 in brackets swimming pools, so people reading the minutes, they know what it is.
I'll speak to this. I'm really glad we're going to actually ask the local development group what they think and if they have plans to use it, because if they have plans to use it, I believe it is a defensible argument. I don't believe just because I read something that is the only option. And trademark attorneys, this is their bread and butter. It's also much harder to get something back because they're very cautious what they allow to be registered these days. So the good thing is this is going to ask them, and hopefully we take that into consideration. I think there's many trademarks around the world that are not being used, but they put defences why they still want it. And also, looking up the website, I believe that this is registered trademark and we should be defending it if the community want to keep it. If the community don't want to keep it, it's a great point to be able to move on with looking for another category that we may not even get, because there's a lot that the examiners oppose, and it's like a little bit like this morning with our planning issue. There's historical issues that have changed now, and it's much harder to get trademarks. So I do think it's great that we actually ask the community group, see if they have any interest in using it. And if they do, I think we can make a defence. If they don't, then it will be gone. But don't expect you necessarily will have the same protection in the future in a different category, because it's very hard to get that. And it's really the area of the trademark attorneys to give advice on that. Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Does Moo wish to sum up? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
Lee.
14.5. Australia Day 2024 post-event report. Councillor.
Can I move this go into close, please?
Okay.
Not necessarily right away, just put it in the closed agenda.
Yeah, okay. Do we need reasons for that?
You do.
Just
Just to discuss some emails that were sent to not all councillors, just so we can talk about that.
so that it might be a matter affecting the wellbeing.
Oh, it's concerned with some award winners or, so it is
Yes.
private.
So what are the reasons, Kel? Have you got any of those up there we can pull up?
It's, I think, it's a matter that it may affect the wellbeing of some. Yes, I think that's probably the reason.
Sorry?
Did you want it closed?
Yeah, move to, not like stop now, just put it in the closed agenda.
Later on, yeah.
Yeah, move to
That this
closed
be
agenda.
considered as part of the
Today's closed.
Today's closed. I was going to do it straight up this morning, but I thought just wait till it comes.
What have we found out with the planning first as well?
not, I'll just double check.
Hi, I'm Charles Raymond Jones and I'm
Council will have questions information.
Section F.
I just wonder,
Hi, I'm Charles Raymond Jones.
Mayor, is it cleaner that Councillor Burkett moves a notice without motion in matters pertaining to Australia Day 2024, and it's a separate report, because this here should be in the public arena, than what's in here? I know what you're talking about, I think it's right what you're suggesting, that we're going to have a chat about it. But this here, there's nothing confidential that's in the current report. It's something you want to talk about.
Well, there is a couple of changes that just need.
They're going to move this entire report into confidential and take it off the website so people can't see it.
Oh, right.
So you do a notice of motion that you want to
Sorry, Kel.
have another matter.
Has anything got to be corrected in this report?
Yeah, there is two things in the Baringa one.
So you can do that just before we go into committee, a notice of motion.
Yeah. Sorry, Kel, for all that.
So,
Mess and
can I ask a
keeping on the
question?
toes.
Do we lay this on the table? I don't know what the...
No, it's not going to change the results or winners.
Way you said it, I thought...
No, but I just thought it had to be discussed because that was the item, it's part of that.
Right.
So through the chair, you're going to move a separate motion. So
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry for the
Councillor
people
O'Neill,
playing
any
at home.
question?
No, I'm going to move something.
Okay. Oh, didn't Councillor Burkle,
No.
move it, or you weren't?
No.
You're asking a question.
Yeah, no, I'll just say amend his motion to change a couple of things in here when he doesn't.
Right, Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that council receive and note the report.
Just with the changes on page 231, just for completeness, in the Mitchell District one, the photographer was Hayley Cornelius and Hannah Curry.
Cornelius, any
Hayley, Haylee, Cornelius, Cornelius. I think that's right. And Hannah Curry, I think it's just Hannah. How do you spell Hannah? Curry's like Curry. C-U-R-R-I-E.
They tell you you're not an English teacher.
And the Welcome the Country, I did the Welcome the Country.
the acknowledgement.
Oh, well, it was acknowledgement, not welcome. That's what's written in there, so it was acknowledgement, sorry.
So is the mover happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
Do we have a seconder?
Yeah, okay.
Councillor Burkett, does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
I will. Through the chair, I just want to commend the staff. I was at the Roma celebration this year, as I have been for a long time, and these are well-oiled processes which the community enjoy, and all credit to all the local development officers and the team there, and the support staff that helped on the day as well to make them a success. I also want to thank the staff for organising the ambassadors. Whilst I only saw Natasha speak on the day, we had the opportunity in the lead up to meet with them for dinner and to provide a bit of hospitality for the Maranoa, and they were outstanding people, as you'd expect, and the story and the message that they would have had in the respective areas where we had the three ambassadors, I think the community would have been very appreciative of having that part of the Australia Day celebration. And also, all credit to Don, who were involved with pulling together the assessment.
Apologies, Kate. We're just on another motion. Just hold on. Yes, thank you.
Realise I was on.
All credit to Di and Madonna, who were the leads. Madonna leading and Di backing up in terms of the assessment process this year. Some outstanding applications were submitted, which is really good to see. And congratulations to all the award recipients across the region. But again, from a Roma perspective for the Australia Day celebrations, the perfect location, although a bit hot, I've got to say, on a very humid day out of the sale yards, and from the looks of the people that were there attending, both award recipients and the family and friends that they were supporting it, they very much enjoyed the morning as well. So good work by the team at Maranoa Regional Council.
All right. Would anyone, Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo Councillor O'Neill's words there. We had probably record numbers for us, 120 and then 268 at the pool, which was awesome. They were a bit of a hit, the water slides. One thing I really want to thank the design of the certificates, blending in with the medallion. I thought that was a great touch. They look very classy. We had Gail Kerr, and I didn't realise until on the day when she was making a speech that she'd come to Mitchell and spoke on the spa deck, and it took me 24 hours to click it was the same woman, but she was very good, and there was some really good life lessons that she told, and no, I thought that was one of our better ones, and I'd like to congratulate the staff on that as well. So yeah, very good.
Anybody else? Councillor Taylor?
I'd just like to say the out of the Iron Bath race day was really good. The water slide, the kids had a great time. It was hot, thank God it was hot. So it was really good, I think. And ladies in the kitchen say thank you very much. Don't do that again. They would be hammered. So it was really good. So really, yeah, great job. Everybody did a great job. So well done to all the staff. It was really good.
Councillor Ladbrook?
Councillor Guthrie and myself went to in June. I think we had about 60 or 70 people there. It was a real good morning. You know, everything runs smoothly, and it was just a very warm and positive time. Yeah.
Okay, does anyone else wish
I'd
to?
just like to say I enjoyed the day at Ironbark Raceway. Probably the first and last time I'll ever drive the drag car.
And I missed it by a minute, yeah.
Yeah, I'll speak. Certainly a great Australia Day. I conducted the citizenship ceremony as part of the Roma event, and it's a great vibe from the new Australians that take up citizenship. Also, just the amount of people in our community groups all around the Maranoa that get really recognised for their achievements in supporting community and helping community and making the Maranoa a better place. So we had one this morning here, and really, yeah, I think that's the best thing about Australia Day is it's saying thank you to all the people that make Australia such a great place to live. So yeah, very happy with the day. Does anyone else wish to speak?
So yeah, I enjoyed it immensely. I thought it was well run. And yeah, I'd just like to congratulate everyone who was involved in the day. That's why it went smoothly. So, and thank you.
Okay, just move.
Can I just say one thing too? Because there was a bit of discussion in June, some really proactive, moving forward ideas on how to make it even better. And I did encourage both our LDO as well as some of the individuals who had great ideas to bring them forward, because even though we've got it really humming along well, some of the ideas they had, I went, there, that's worth considering. So maybe we can even extend in the years to come and make it even better than what it currently is.
I believe we're looking at scheduling in a briefing maybe April. See what we can do to improve.
And it was all proactive. It was really good ideas. So it was like making something better than what it currently is. It's good.
Okay, so does Mayor wish to sum up?
Yeah, thanks very much. And that's a really good point, Councillor Guthrie. One little bit of feedback that I got was that it'd be wonderful to have the speech that is read out as part of the documentation that each award winner gets, and we did that yesterday for Flynn White with his mum. But you know, at the Roma ceremony, I won't name names, but one of the recipients was overwhelmed with emotion because she was so surprised, one, to have been nominated, two, to win the award, and then to listen to what had been shared about her. You know, brought tears to her eyes, and I could see that in her husband in the crowd as well. So I think that'd be one positive thing going forward if we include that. I'm sure there's a number of other things that council can keep fine-tuning to make it a real success. I'm pleased that other councillors raised the Ironbark event. I had a house full of friends and family, so I didn't get out there myself, much to my daughter's disgust, when there was some great photos put on social media about the water slides that they had out there, which looked like went down a treat with the young kids on a very hot day. So all credit to Ironbark Race Committee for putting their hand up and running an event here, and clearly the numbers were very, very strong out there, as well as were the other events that were happening across the region too. So well done, and please to Di and Edwina, pass on our thanks to all the staff that aren't here today for the work that they do in making that a success.
Okay, well, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? That's 8-0. Okay.
So Kate puts it up.
Yeah, if Kate's on, that would be a good idea. Okay, 14.1, material change of use extractive industry up to 300,000 tonnes per annum. Reference 2023/20959. Officer Kate, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions.
Can we have some volume, please? Somehow?
Might be your thing.
There's one here. Can you?
It's not 156.
124.
No, we've done that.
Oh, sorry.
What is it, sorry?
124.
Kate, could you just say a couple of words, please?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
That's
Yeah,
better.
that's
All good.
Just a couple of things. Want to know if it's moved as. Is it up on the screen?
Through the chair. Yes, the amended conditions, Kate, are actually in front of the council right now.
In regards to the actual road off the highway that's been in place for a long time,
Yes.
are we saying it's joint responsibility for that, or because I think it should not be? I think it should be council's responsibility, and there an internal road is their responsibility.
So the access easement is their responsibility, definitely. From the condition currently is from the property boundary to the road edge, so the edge of the Carnarvon Highway. The condition does currently say it's their responsibility. So I've changed that to subject to any maintenance agreement, because it is technically both parties using that section of the road reserve. And then it's up to, I guess, council and the applicant to work out how that, whether there is a shared maintenance responsibility or not. They do have, I guess, there is a portion that's directly to council's quarry and a portion of that road reserve that is directly accessing their quarry. But yeah, I think I've just broadened that out to saying subject to any maintenance agreement, then that's where the responsibility will be determined.
Councillor McMillan?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Obviously, Kate, just correct me if I'm wrong, but basically this will say both parties are sharing that section from the highway to the fence or whatever, to the boundary, but the maintenance agreement will be worked out between the two parties.
Yeah, so both approvals will have the exact same condition, saying the landowner is responsible for maintaining the vehicle access from the road carriageway to the property boundary. So it's then basically between the two landowners, because it is a shared access, to work out how that's apportioned out.
So can council make it that it's just our responsibility till it gets to their actual specific access that they will create into their quarry?
Yeah, council can have that in the agreement. So basically, we would just spell out in the agreement, because I think there's also some discussions around moving where their access joins the access off the highway. So it would probably just be, we'd draw up an agreement saying, it's either shared for ABC or council does all of this and then you do this bit. Yeah, that would all be an agreement.
So how can we do that? Because that's what I would like to do, is that the existing original, because we have a lot more movements than they probably ever will, but we cover that, and then when it's to their specific use that we don't use, it's all up to them.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think what you're trying to say, Mr Mayor, is we've got to give them, they've got to have shared access on it, but what you're wanting to say is council be responsible for all maintenance.
Yeah.
If we take that shared access out, they don't still have an.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So basically they could, because it's very expensive to do highway changes and stuff, so sending them a bill for that I don't think's really correct. So it's really, so can I get some wording on that, please?
So through the chair, Kate, as your current condition stands, is the landowner is responsible for maintaining the vehicle access crossover. This is the debate. Yesterday the conversation was, could it please be the landowner is responsible for shared maintenance of the vehicle access crossover? But is that what you're saying, or you're wanting 29 to be removed completely and just have a maintenance agreement in relation to the access?
So what I'm saying is that we would cover it from the bitumen highway. Yep.
It's the crossover.
Into where, and then they turn off to their place. They're responsible from then on in doing that, but we're responsible, what we've always been responsible for when we've been...
And it's one way for consistency too, there's no...
So what I'm hearing, Kate, is actually that clause 29 is removed.
Councillor Edwards?
Is that the main roads to do with...
It's
nothing to do with the main roads.
No, it's our turn off.
So they do have conditions from main roads for that access.
The current agency responsible for that, sorry?
Yes, it's
Can you hear that, Kate? Councillor Edwards is asking. Please go ahead, Councillor
Yeah,
Edwards.
what, 29, what is concurrent agency response? What's that?
So this application still required referral to Main Roads, and Main Roads have applied conditions about the standard of the access. So it's exactly
that's
the
where I
same
was
as what
coming
was
from.
applied to council's quarry. And so this is why that condition is there, but I've added the subject to any maintenance agreement because council can enter an infrastructure agreement separate to this approval because we've both got the exact same conditions from the property boundary to the road frontage. And then you come into agreement, the same as if two completely separate operators were both using the same driveway, their conditions would be exactly the same, so they're responsible for maintenance, and then it's up to those operators to come to the agreement. So separate to this approval, we would enter into an infrastructure agreement with Collinson saying we maintain this bit, you maintain that bit.
So basically what I would like is wording that we're not going to send them a bill for the bit from the highway into where we go anyway, and then from then on it's up to them. So how would you do
So that would
And
be in an
Kate-
infrastructure agreement.
Yep, but Kate, whilst it's in clause 29, council could refuse to enter into any maintenance agreement at a date in the future because they're agreed, they sit outside the DA and they're time limited. So council could change its mind. So I think that has to be considered by the group, is that you've got wording in here that actually allows the two parties to come to agreement in whatever form. It's just a case of if you remove clause 29, is that a problem for the DA, considering that there has to be a concurrence agency response in relation to that crossover?
Well, we can't remove the concurrence agency conditions and the obligations associated with that. And those conditions do have requirements for the standard of access.
Yeah, so we either share it or assume 100% for that. Yep.
Can we get a map?
It's only a tiny little bit.
Where you're talking?
It's actually,
Yeah.
it's a really tiny, small one.
Have we got it? I was just looking at stuff from yesterday, I didn't see it.
I can't get my map.
So Kate, you're saying if you believe with the current wording that you are covering the ability to enter into a separate agreement where both sides can mutually come to agreement?
Yes.
You want this map?
What page?
So, Kate, if we don't want to charge the applicant for that first bit from the highway, how do we put that in a motion that we will look after, mate, or look after that stuff? How do we do that?
So it would be similar. It would be similar to the motion that we did about the screening on the Collinson's property for the council quarry. So it would be a separate motion that we resolve to enter into an infrastructure agreement in relation to the shared maintenance or maintenance responsibilities for the shared access driveway. I can tidy up those words a bit nicer for you, but it would be a separate motion that then says we resolve to enter into the agreement to make it very clear who's responsible for what.
But if we don't want to charge you, council resolves not to charge for that. We'll look after that part of it. As good neighbour, how do we do that?
It's got to be a separate motion.
So
Yeah,
that would be in the infrastructure agreement. We would have a very clear, whether it's a map, and we draw that we'll be responsible for the maintenance of this section and they're responsible for the maintenance of that section.
In what?
Right.
So essentially, do we need to pass a motion around the infrastructure agreement today, or could that be done at a future date?
It doesn't need to be a motion, but if councillors were wanting to, it can absolutely be done today, same as that landscaping was done for around the council quarry. I can email through some wording for that.
Okay, thanks, Kate.
Because my option is in the first bit from the highway to where we go anyway, we would cover that. So that's what I would like to say, and then the rest of it, they cover. If you know what I mean. So could you send through a motion for that?
Yep, absolutely.
Righto, and then we can move that separately. Also, I think there was a question about the firefighting and using the dams. Has that been?
No, they said they were going to take.
And through the chair, if you recall, that the planning advice was that it actually doesn't specify what kind of. That's fine as long as it meets the need.
That was queried yesterday.
Yeah.
And
the wording's quite broad. It just says Kate, the wording for around the fire stuff was very broad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just says adequate. So it doesn't say it has to be a tank with Chemlock fittings or anything like that. So yeah, it just needs to be a water supply that can be used for firefighting.
This page 133.
And the environmental timeframe and the biosecurity, have we adjusted those ones?
Yes, they should be 6 months for both of those.
Shows it.
And also the sensitive receptor, we just got it in as that they can't affect sensitive receptors.
No, so I've kept that condition as adjoining properties also because that condition isn't just around, I guess I can understand the position around things like noise and dust, but that condition also includes things like stormwater and rubbish that I think adjoining properties could potentially be affected I'm not saying the Collinsons, but if they were to move on and someone else took on that approval, that there are potential impacts there. So I have proposed to leave the adjoining properties in there because that condition isn't just around things like noise and dust from a quarry. But if the councillors want to remove it, absolutely, they can take that out.
Take it out from that time. It's up to council.
Righto, so I suppose there could be other landowners in the future that might have some effect because of something else, not just themselves.
Yes.
Righto.
It doesn't really show the access on either of those maps really well.
It is, but you can't see the beginning of it.
No.
That yellow piece over the 15.
Yeah, but then that's our quarry. And that one's their quarry. Like,
See the yellow piece? No. Wait,
Yeah.
pick the other map up. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it's not.
No, it's not conclusive. It doesn't tell you.
So the way around it is that Kate is going to send through some wording that will sort of split up, that we look after the maintenance on what we've got existing to our quarry, and then they look after it from
The access, right?
their own access past us. Okay. Any other questions? Did someone else have a question? Hours.
Yeah, hours should be the same.
Kate, we've got a question. Who was asking about hours? Councillor O'Neill.
I was just asking about the hours, 8 to 6, and the neighbouring quarry, which is obviously council's. It's 6 to 5.
Yes.
So number 8.
Was that it? Was the original hours for the Roma quarry development application 6 to 6, and we amended those to 6 to 5?
Yes.
Well then,
Is theirs the same?
No,
we should do the
in
same.
here it says 66.
Should be 6 to 5 to match.
For consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also the blasting was reduced on the council quarry to remove Saturday blasting. So you'd want to remove that section of, if you're looking at being consistent, then you'd remove the 9 till 1 Saturday blasting as well.
Yeah, just through the chair, remember that the conditions and the hours of operation were as a result of discussion about the impact on them as neighbours. Remembering that, just pointing out that if you're working with that neighbour in relation to wholesale supply of materials, they actually will do more blasting than we do. So the reality is that that just gives them a little bit more flexibility around that blasting. I mean, it's up to the table as to what they decide. But essentially, if you recall, a lot of the consideration around our operating hours was about their amenity, not necessarily ours. If we're not there on a Saturday, then we won't be getting the impact of that Saturday. And I'm just raising.
I was worried about the blasting. I just thought the time should be.
But Kate, is there any technical reason why they have to be the same? It's just up to council to decide.
Yeah, so we've proposed the 6 to 6 is in accordance with the planning scheme, which is why the conditions have been put back as 6 to 6, and then because it was a decision of council to drop the adjoining quarry to 6 to 5, it's then up to council if you also want to drop this one from 6 to 5 as well.
I'm happy to move. Could we go to the beginning, Kel?
So are they doing 65 as well?
Oh no, well, I'm going to move 6 till 6 because I think to the CEO's point, there may be use outside and we won't be there. So we were making the other changes because they live there. So if they don't want it.
What about across the road? I suppose we're closer to them than
I don't think there's anyone close, is there?
Mr. Mayor, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I know you're going to move, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not going to read the whole show out, are we? Just read the amendments out?
What do we have here? It's in open.
Well,
so,
yeah, that's what I mean, it's all in open.
So what do we have to normally?
I think what you believe is the amendment, isn't it?
We'd normally move the recommendation if.
As listed
they
in
can-
amendments.
Yep.
That's what I did with the other one, I just read the amendment out.
Amendments as listed, yeah.
All right, well, I'll start. So, 26.
Yeah, 24.
So this is more current up here, isn't it?
That's right.
Do that. So it starts at the development, or is it?
Yeah, the development application, yeah, that's right.
The development application for material change of use for an extractive industry up to 300,000 tonnes per annum located at 3401 Carnarvon Highway, Yuma, described as Lot 2 on SP 200044 and easement A on SP 330834 be approved subject to the listed conditions and general advice. Do we go through these or?
You can advise.
One or?
And you could read through use, the approved,
Or
and
do we
as
do one
conditions,
to?
yeah, as conditions listed as 1 to, keep going, don't they? 1 to, condition
How many numbers you got?
40A, 40I,
Oh, yeah, all right.
1 to 40I,
As conditions listed 1 to 40I,
as presented, including amendments.
as presented, including amendments.
Yep.
Now, do we need anything else? Kate, are you online? Can you see this?
I can't see it, but I am online, yes.
1 to 40, and then general advice A to
Yeah.
I.
Okay,
So 45,
right. So,
unless I'm reading the wrong.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's
Oh, I know, I.
40. So it's not 40I, it's conditions to 40, and then there's general advice A to
yes.
I.
okay, conditions 1 to 40 and general advice I to A, is it?
No, A.
A to I.
A to I.
Yep. Right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and do we need as presented, including amendments and general
Including
advice?
amendments,
Oh, well,
yes.
that's in there. Okay, so I might read that again. If we just shift it down. The development application for material change of use for extractive industry up to 300,000 tonnes per annum, located at 3401 Carnarvon Highway, Yuma, described as Lot 2 on SP 200044 and easement A on SP 330834 be approved subject to the listed conditions 1 to 40 as presented, including amendments and general advice A to I. We need anything else, Kate, do you think?
No, I don't need anything else.
Righto. Okay. Do we have a seconder for
Can I
that?
just ask, can we scan through that because there's been so many changes that I'm not clear in myself what we're actually voting for?
Just put Councillor Ladbrook up there in the meantime and then we can scan through it.
Can I just have a look at number 8 in particular, please?
Okay. So,
So it's as the recommendation.
which is 6 to 6.
6 Monday to 7.
So can we just clarify what the Maranoa, our quarry is?
6 to 5.
It's 6 to 5 Monday to Saturday, is it?
Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
No, ours is
Oh,
Monday
we-
to Saturday.
Oh,
Monday to
Monday to
Saturday.
Saturday.
Ours is 6 to 6 Monday to Saturday.
6 to 5.
Oh, sorry, 6 to 5, yes. 6 to 5,
Monday.
sorry.
clear as crusher dust.
I just don't see how we get to have 6 to 5.
No, that was our choice. We opted to reduce it 6 to 6 as the legal.
Well, we're not going to disturb anyone there.
We opted
They are
to.
They're not going to
No one's-
disturb it Because no one's there because we've changed our hours to suit them.
That's correct. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
That's what I mean.
That's my point.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
yeah,
Right,
That's what we
has
are.
everyone read it? I'll speak to the motion. This has been a long time coming. It's something that we decided in this term to do, and we're following through that we would do a couple of DAs, and it's happened. I think the quicker we can get on with this and try and have successful businesses running, I think that's a positive thing. And in this case, we're a neighbour, so I think, it's positive, and I'm glad it's here today, and we'll just keep going on the journey of getting to a better place, I would hope. Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Taylor.
Can I just go back to number 9, please, Kel? Can I ask what our blasting times are? Are you still there, Kate?
Yep. So our blasting times are 9 to 3, Monday to Friday only. So they have the additional 9 till 1 on a Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Burkett.
Mr. Mayor, I'm glad this has finally come to fruition. I know it predates us, it predates the previous probably couple of terms, so I think this is awesome to see it finally finishing. Congratulations to Kate and her team, and also to Manager Clayton and for his guidance and getting it through, and I just look forward to seeing it go on leaps and bounds, crush some dirt.
Councillor McMullen.
I'd just like to echo Councillor Burgett's sentiments. I attended many meetings at the quarry in the first term of council, 2016 to 20, my first term of council, and good to see it come to an end. Well, but we finalised, not come to an end, but...
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Lapper.
it's very encouraging that we've been able to sort everything out with the neighbours, and I think it'll be benefit for us as a council.
I should just say crushed rock, not crushed dirt, sorry.
Right. Thank you for that clarification, Councillor Burkett. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak in favour. I'd much prefer it to be 6 to 5 for consistency, but I'm not going to die in the ditch over an hour. This has obviously been a long process, and there's been some challenging times for the Collinsons and council. I think having this now in place, if it's approved today, to allow them operate their business, beside and in conjunction with the road quarry as well, I think that will be a good outcome, and I'm sure that the Collinsons will be very happy to have this approved and then getting on and doing the job.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Guthrie.
I just think the fact, however it gets resolved today, I'm sure that this is a very, very positive step to doing it. It's been a long and laborious process, and I'm very, very mindful that we've gone with site visits, and we've had numerous opportunities to talk to the Collinsons, and even yesterday we had a deputation, which is basically a confirmation that we're on the right track. There were just a few little tweaks to go with. So I think it's a very, very positive outcome, and I'm very, very happy that we will have good neighbours operating between two quarries.
Okay, and Councillor Edwards.
Yeah, I'm just happy that it's come to fruition as well. In the spirit of cooperation. So you can see what can happen, and I'm sure all parties are very happy. So yeah, I'll be definitely supporting it. I didn't realise what a momentous occasion it was actually till just now, so I think it's great.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Then we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Kate, do you have that wording before we move on to another motion?
Yeah, I've just emailed something through, and there's a bit of a very rough plan I've scribbled on to sort of show how I think you were planning to split up the maintenance. So if that's how you're wanting it, we can include that potentially as an attachment or something.
Yeah.
Through the chair, have you...
Oh, it's on the screen. It's on the screen.
Brilliant.
That looks good, Kate.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You did graphics at school, did you?
That's PowerPoint.
Still call it graphics?
Officer Kate?
Yep.
Jeff here. The section we're referring to now is the one inside the blue.
Yeah, so the blue
That's
will
correct.
be councils.
The rest will be, that's council, the rest will be other.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I'd like to, so how do we identify that so I can put in a motion, CEO?
Just
say blue and yellow.
No, the council.
It's there.
Through the chair, the wording will be, and it's incorporated in the resolution, is
As per plan.
generally in accordance with the plan below, attached.
You got it there, yeah. On your Cal.
Okay, so I'd like to move that council resolve to enter into an infrastructure agreement in relation to the maintenance of the shared access driveway between Carnarvon Highway and lots 1 and 2 on SP 2044, generally in accordance with the plan below attached, with the blue area being council's responsibility. Or, whatever.
No, that's...
And just through the chair, you don't need to say that council resolved to enter, just that council enter into an infrastructure
Righto, that
agreement. Sorry, just
council
to be
enter.
pedantic.
I'm happy to say. Oh, you're going to...
No, you're right.
I'll second it.
Okay, councillor Burkett seconds that. Does anyone wish to speak to it? Then we're going to vote. All those in favour? 8-0.
Right.
Okay, where are we up to?
238.
I think we're up to the late.
No. 238.
I've got one.
4G.
238 and 239.
And then yours, Jeff, 0.
At the back, at the very back.
That's open, yeah.
That's an item.
We got late open, haven't we?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a big late one.
on the end of this.
So 238, correct?
Yeah.
17.1, 4G rollout to Maranoa communities. Councillor Guthrie.
I'd like to move that a report be prepared for the next meeting confirming council's ability to assist communities and individuals with preparedness for Telstra's planned withdrawal of the 3G network on the 30th of June 2024. And I'd also like to acknowledge the efforts of both Scott Mullally, who's the Regional General Manager, Southwest Queensland Telstra Regional Australia. I can give you all these help. And also Christy Sparrow, who is the advocate on behalf of Better Internet for Rural Regional Remote Australia, the BIRR project.
Second that. Yeah, go.
Righto, we've got a seconder. Councillor Ladbrook. Councillor Guthrie, do you think instead of ability to assist, do you want to put some more direction in? Is it come back with a plan to assist or what,
My only concern, Mr Mayor, is that we did have a briefing with Scott Mullally, who has indicated a very clear direction that Telstra's going with. And I think that what our role should be is to assist it, because when he spoke to us, he said, let us know if you'd like to have community forums. We haven't followed that up. And when I did this as a result of a CR on behalf of Injune community, and then I went back and had a look. So to answer your question, I think it's about assisting.
But what I mean is
Telstra.
to give more direction in the motion, what to do. What do you want? Because, well, we're running out of time. Like me, what do you want done? Do you want a plan? Do you want it? Because you're saying that. You're saying council's ability to assist, but...
Telstra has a plan though, Mr Mayor. So it's really about us being able to use our communication channels to make sure that everyone knows that 3G will be switched off.
Yeah.
And I truly believe at the moment there are lots and lots of people who don't know that they will wake up one day and it'll just be gone.
But why don't you just put that in the motion?
I've got a suggestion for you, Councillor Guthrie. That a report be prepared for the next council meeting, identifying where council can assist to communicate to communities and individuals or help communities and individuals with preparedness. Actually, what you're asking for, Mayor, is something tangible to come back.
Yeah.
Like, how is it going to be rolled
So,
out? That report be prepared for the next meeting, identifying ways council can assist communities and individuals with preparedness.
Yeah.
Because to your point, and I heard the state manager of Telstra on ABC in the last 3 weeks, and David, I'll have asked her, how are you going to make sure that exactly what you say doesn't happen? And they've narrowed it down to exactly how many people are left in regional Queensland with 3G, and they are contacting them personally. Now, that can still fail, you know, so if we're able to get it out through channels to keep it alive as to this is about to happen.
I'm prepared to accept that. My only concern, just to follow on for your question, is that I do think Telstra has a plan, and I'd hate to think that then anything that we did was actually going to not enable their plan to come to it. It's really about us assisting them in the rollout of their plan.
And through the chair, we have been in touch with Telstra, and Telstra will come into our region and host information sessions. So there's options that we can do in partnership with Telstra.
Well, that's maybe add that a report be prepared for the next council meeting. Doing ways council can work with Telstra to assist communities and individuals with preparedness.
Yeah.
For Telstra's plan withdrawal. Actually, you're wanting to bring it together.
I want council to be working with Telstra, because we know that Telstra's got a plan in place, and they've actually shared with us the plan.
Yeah.
But the reality is the plan there are glitches in the plan, and I'll talk to this in a minute, but I'm happy to have that.
So Councillor Abrooke, you're happy with that change? Okay, please go ahead, Councillor Guthrie.
From an Injune point of view, we have had there have been so many problems in Injune since December, and the only way that I can see, and Christy has done an absolutely brilliant job on social media, but the reality is there's a lot of people in Injune who don't have social media. And I took a phone call a couple of weeks ago, and I've been talking to people who go, we don't know that 3G is going. And I go, oh, well, it's well advertised. Well, where is it well advertised? So I think there are many, many glitches in the process to date. And then when I did a CRNS 170A, I did get information back that basically said, this is the plan. And Scott had said, if you want community meetings, please let us know. Well, we haven't, and it's now February. We know that there are 13 mobile sites that will be shut off in April 2024. So we're talking in 2 months' time, there are 32 advertised Telstra sites in our Maranoa area that they'll be just stopped. Now, the impact of that is going to be horrific for people who are going to go, I didn't know it was happening. So I think we have a really important role to get out there and actually be sharing via our communication, be working with Telstra or Scott to be able to say, well, look, maybe there are glitches in what you're doing, because there's a lot of people, I'll keep saying Injune because that's where I'm getting the feedback, people don't know, and they don't realise that FPOS machines will simply stop. It'll have a major impact on businesses, etc., who don't know what they don't know. So I think it's getting to the late stage, but we need to be very actively doing something to help those in our communities that will actually feel the effect, as I said, overnight.
And maybe one of those things is the next bottle tree bulletin, that we work with Telstra and a page is taken out that stands out better than anything else in there, that this is what's happening. Because you're right, there are a lot of people out there that might be missing the phone calls, the mail that's coming from Telstra, they think it's junk, they throw it out, and they'll be caught come the 30th of June.
And all I can say is, as a councillor, the only way that I know any of this is because I've sat and had briefings. There has been no mail outs. To my knowledge, I've got a post office box in Injune, nothing has come. There's been nothing actually tangible. I've got a husband who's not computer literate, and if he didn't have me prompting him, he'd go, oh, what does that mean? I've just had a councillor said, is this fund going to be switched off? We need to know.
But I think the point is, from what I heard on the ABC, they've now identified the customers that are still on a 3G network. Just because ours still can connect into 3G, this is a 4G phone and soon we'll be on 5G. Unless you still own a device of whatever it is that connects to 3G, they're not coming to you directly because you've moved on, you've got a new, so that's maybe you've got 4G devices.
My husband's got a 3G device.
Well, he should have got something.
Nobody has spoken to him, so I can say that with hand on heart honesty, my husband has a 3G phone.
So all we can do is play a role.
As soon as we get on to Telstra and Because the community will say, how come council didn't tell us? They won't half blame, they won't half blame Telstra, they'll blame
Might be
us.
trying to ring them and they don't answer because if you don't know.
So
the number, you
we
don't
need to
answer.
get onto them and get things moving really, because they'll blame us, not Telstra.
So maybe just to
Blame us
finish
for
up,
everything.
even at
Someone
councillor
will.
Taylor's point, if people aren't answering the phone, there's got to be a level of responsibility that the word is getting out there. And I think it's a shared responsibility, because even though Telstra have got a plan, and we know the plan because they've shared it with us, we need to be then
it's
nudging,
only 8 weeks.
encouraging, doing our little bit to make sure that those who are not digitally enhanced and able to use social media also know it's going to happen and how it's going to impact.
And look, through the chair, we have put a small ad in the bottom, but I agree, we could actually put much bigger coverage.
Front page.
And it's not about fault finding, it's about
maybe a
just
story as well as some advertising.
Yeah, big 3G is going. Are you ready?
But maybe we connect Telstra with Maranoa Today and they take some stuff out in the papers too.
They should take the lead on it, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Because there's been nothing at all.
No.
Okay, so does anyone else wish to speak? Does the mayor wish to sum up?
No, I think we've said enough. I think I've explained, and I think everybody's in agreement. It's just that we need to be on the front foot rather than the back foot. And I think that the people of Maranoa would expect us to be advocating and ensuring that they're up to speed with all the available information.
Okay, all those in favour? 8-0. 17.2, Roma Sayard's water bubbler. Councillor O'Neill.
I'd like to move the report be prepared for the next council meeting, which includes costings and a recommended location for installation of water bubbler at the Roma Sayards.
Just a question, I just started flicking through prices and I should know because I did a price for one at school, but are you looking at, I thought there would have been one when they built it, but are you looking at a singular bubbler or a trough one with 3 or 4?
No, just a singular one that's, well, what was suggested to me was a singular one that you can drink out of, but it's also got the little tap to the side.
There's ones the state school got in Mitchell, they're a single unit, smaller, they come in, I can't remember the brand, but they have the water and then the water bottle one down low.
Whatever it looks like now, but that can all come back. Everyone can have their say what that.
On it, yeah, and it's only that big.
And they're also kiddie-proof that they don't get vandal, which is lovely.
Yeah.
I just have a comment, sort of around that. I don't think the ones in town are still working. I've had a couple of comments.
Through the chair, that there's some long-term issues that actually need to be replaced, they can't be repaired.
Yeah, because I've had a few people, you know, like in summer and when we had the Christmas thing, I myself went to use the water and there's no water. And I know Dean said they can't get parts for them anymore. So we bought these bubblers or whatever they are. And,
Not very long ago.
Hey?
Not very long ago.
Yeah, and they can't get parts.
Okay, so we better keep going with the meeting.
I'm happy to second.
We have a seconder. Does the mayor wish to speak to it?
I do. This is a pretty simple one. A number of users of the Roma Sayards have raised with me that this would be a welcome addition to the facility. A lot of people now are not buying singular water bottles like this. They've got their own Yetis and whatever else, stainless steel ones. I mean, I'm mindful that we've got a provider out there in terms of the cafe that do sell water, but they're not open at all the times when people are out there. And so enough people have raised this that of recent times, because we've been, you know, hot, that I thought I'd bring it to council and we move on this pretty quickly. So I urge councillors to support the recommendation.
Okay, Councillor Urquhart.
Just a quick one, and I think Councillor Neal might have brought me out there on a visit that was talked about, because the ideal locations where there's already water, which is outside the toilet area, so you're not chasing pipes, but yeah, fully supportive of that. Just going ahead.
And does anyone else wish to speak? I'll speak. You know, I think that's a good idea, and you know, to have something somewhere is great, especially if people don't bring their own rainwater. It's certainly a backup and would be good to have. Does anyone else wish to speak?
Just amend that to plural installation of water bubblers.
Maybe one near the bull ring and one just a couple of locations.
Make sure we get the right one.
Yeah.
Okay, so, does the mayor wish to sum up?
Mayor, straightforward, and if we can get this back at the next meeting, we probably can move pretty quickly to get something installed.
Before the next day.
Okay. On that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. I'd like to move that council bring back for the next meeting, options on water bubblers for the areas that do not have, that have a water bubbler that are not working at the moment in the Maranoa. As we bring back other information anyway, for it to consider, making sure there is water where there historically been water. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Ladbrook. Does anyone wish to speak to it?
Not water, you've sort of said where water bottles are. I'm not currently.
Would you want to report back to identify where they're currently not working? Same thing. We just get it exactly like what you've asked for, but basically for all the ones that are there now but are not working. That's what you want back, that's what I mean.
Do we want a cost?
You don't want people identifying where we're going to put brand new.
No, where they already are.
Existing water bubblers that are not working.
And we'll see the options and the models from the one for the Australia. So.
Bubbler?
I've got a couple in my shed I could probably sell second hand. I've had to rob it to fix one that you're talking about. Not here.
I should have brought this, I just thought about something with the other one. We're going to have a refrigerated one to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not, these here come straight off the water main.
These are.
Sure, that's a good point.
Excellent.
Okay, Mayor.
Okay,
and a seconder.
so we'll go to the vote on that motion. 8-0. L1. Request for support of Mitchell Bowls Club Nomad. I'd like to move that Council 1 receive and note the report, endorse the $9,000 contribution for a regional promotion for the sponsorship and donations budget, GL sponsorship budget, GL 2887.244.2249. And then 3, advise the club accordingly. And then 4, I'll just put an extra one, that the regional nomad event would have the inclusion of the Maranoa bowls clubs in all of our regions.
So that, yeah, Mr. Because should that be in the, so people just don't think.
Well, it's the title, and the title's done unless you want to change it, but it's a clear thing. And
I first read it, I thought it was just for Mitchell.
That
That's a lot.
That local bowls clubs are included?
Yeah, it should be, to me in the motion, it should say for the Maranoa-based clubs, because people read that thing, it's just for Mitchell.
No, but they're the organiser, but I'll speak to it. There is actually a Maranoa Heads Association for all of them.
So is that not...
The sponsorship budget was what
We adjusted
it before.
Yeah. And we've adjusted to allow for this in there.
Oh, happy to second.
Yep. Okay, Councillor O'Neill.
Is that $9,000 for one page in a magazine?
No, that's for the total sponsorship and advertising
Prize money?
for the whole month of bowls in the Maranoa. So they're going to each bowls club. So in June, Surat, Mitchell and Roma.
Have they got a
Through the chair,
And if so,
through the
then...
chair, John has advised me that it's $8,000 in prize money over 12 dates and $1,000 in advertising for South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland.
We split that up so it doesn't look like it's $9,000 for advertising, because that's a lot of money.
I'm happy to do that.
It threw me when I first looked at it.
Do you want to put advertising?
Well, I'd actually
Want to have a
say
breakdown?
$8,000 for prize, $1,000 for advertising.
But even put the towns.
That's what I reckon, all the clubs.
Yeah.
Mitchell,
Yeah, because I thought, geez, what are they coming at Mitchell getting
Check
on
the
with this?
Yulbars not involved because they,
I don't think Yulbars
No, but it might,
affiliated.
what's that?
I don't think Yulbar is actually.
Oh, affiliated, okay.
oh, it's
I
not
just didn't
affiliated.
want to leave you out if you were involved.
No,
It's an artificial thing, isn't it?
turf, no, turf.
That doesn't,
You know, and the grounds moved a
We
bit.
don't, they don't have to move.
I've bowled there before, and
you gotta,
you got to know where the
got a
curve
whole new
Was that the problem, George?
it was. Plus a couple of runs, I think.
Mr. Mayor, can I also make a suggestion? We often have acknowledged, have Maranoa Regional Council acknowledged in,
Yeah.
because if we're putting, if this gets up and we're putting $9,000 there, I'd like to think that we're getting a little bit of acknowledgement that we
Yeah,
provide
might
the
be.
cash.
Here.
Just, I'm not thinking of.
No, I think it's good.
So Kel, just the wording, just about acknowledge council's contribution.
In any advertising.
Yeah, that's right. Makes sense.
Are you not going to name the towns?
Yeah, they're down the bottom.
Yeah, in number 5.
Oh, can't see my big shoulders.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It was just a reflection on the top of your head, I couldn't see.
Before you
Literally, they
could
are
see it.
sinking.
Okay, I'd like to move that one, council receive and note the report. Council endorse a total of $8,000 for prize money and $1,000 for advertising contribution for the regional program promotion from the sponsorship and donations budget, GL sponsorship budget, GL 2887.2249. 3, advise the club accordingly. 4, acknowledge council's contribution in advertising and promotion of the event. 5, the regional Nomad event include the towns of Surat, Roma, Injune and Mitchell. So,
Burko's already said.
Councillor Burko, are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Third on the biscuit tin, mate.
I'll speak to it. So I think this is pretty exciting. We had the golf event, and then obviously different years the golf event went to different areas. This is actually about, I believe, approximately a month of bowling in the region and advertising on the national scene for the Nomad event in our winter time to come and bowl for a month in the Maranoa. And speaking to the president, was saying that he believes that there's certainly clubs that need some support. So this is a way that we can hopefully put some money into the coffers of some of the bowls clubs that are probably struggling a little bit or would need help at least. And and the best thing about this is it's a Maranoa owned event. They can't take it away next year because it's about the Maranoa. Also, the president said that he would hope that in future years that they can cover the amount via people being impressed with what's happened and then get on board with sponsorship. So that is the goal, that to get it going. And the first one is always the hardest. Now, whether that happens or not, but it's really keeping people in our region for a month and getting them to think about bowling in the Nomad event in the wintertime. Okay?
In that resolution, there's no mention of bowls club. I just thought the regional Nomad event, including
Yeah,
bowls
that's fine.
clubs because the whole thing doesn't mention bowling.
Righto.
You knocked your knee there before.
Yeah, I didn't knock my knee. I
Just put you in action.
my drawers come out.
Too much information.
Yeah.
Okay, does anyone else wish to
Yes.
speak? Is the seconder happy with that
I'm
change?
happy with that change, Mr Mayor. I think it's bowls. I know in Mitchell's taken a real upward trajectory, and they've got this jack attack thing at the moment every week for so long, and it's just increased the numbers in the last couple of years. And so this should kick on. I think it's good that it's shared around the whole region, which should be good for everyone.
Does anyone else wish to speak? Then we're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, moving on to
H5.
Page 5, L2, risk-based report to council. I'd like to move that Council 1 receive a confidential update on all outstanding claims lodged against council in relation to its policy and presented in accordance with the advice received. 2, receive these reports on a quarterly basis and that a copy be provided to Council's Audit and Risk Committee as part of this process. We have a seconder, Councillor Taylor. Any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? I'll speak. I think that, and certainly since I've been in council, it hasn't been the process, but I believe councillors are not operational, but there is very important reasons that council should be made aware from a performance point of view as well as a strategic point of view in regards to assets and performance in regards to operation of council. And these could have long-term ramifications, and we are responsible for, as council, the performance of the local government. So I think there's information that we need to know and know early, which can really give us an insight, so we're ahead of the game than behind the game. So, and I think just having a confidential report every quarter would be a very positive thing for the new council, whoever they are, to be able to get that information. And yeah, that's all. Does anyone else wish to speak? Then we're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0.
The late single one.
You'll have to add it.
Oh, through the chair, yes, the.
Okay, Councillor McMullen.
Now I'd like to move that we add agenda item L3, installation of vape detectors in schools, to the agenda, please.
Okay, we have a second, Councillor O'Neill. Does a move? Oh, that's right, we're only moving that. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, so item number, what is it going to be? L3. Installation of vape detectors in schools. Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move that council write to the Minister for Education and Minister for Youth Justice, Diane Farmer MP, advocating for the installation of vape detectors in all schools in the Maranoa and the state of Queensland.
We have a seconder, Councillor Guthrie. Any opposition? Does anyone wish?
Question. I didn't know there was a vape detectors. There are? Oh. Okay, good.
Apparently so. Councillor McMullen.
This came about, I attended the Headspace day yesterday where the things were being discussed about a lot of different concerns about the towns and things like that, with the youth. One of our I thought very good speaking school, college students was there, and as I wasn't aware as Councillor Ladbroke that there is a vape detector, but this student was very concerned about the vaping that's going on in the school that she attends. So part of the process yesterday was put all these things, there's a heap of things put together. So well, I suggested to write to council. I suggested them to write to council. I decided to put up straight away and start chasing this because the student just couldn't, well, she believes because she saw it, but I didn't believe how many people were vaping at school, in the toilets.
At a young age too.
Very young age, so.
Okay, does someone else wish to speak?
Oh, I'll second. It's already second.
Already seconded. I'll speak. I'll speak. I think there could be, it's really worrying, some of the medical advice about what vaping does to your lungs, even worse than smoking, as far as the lungs are not used to having that vapour. And so I'm really worried that these children will have long-term effects in adult life, and it's a very unregulated industry anyway, and it's sort of in the grey market, and it's very cheap compared to cigarettes, and that's completely against trying to have less people doing something that might have shortened their life. So I'm really concerned about it. I'm glad there is such a thing as a vape detector, but the more that we can highlight it, we don't want it the next epidemic when kids wake up and, you know, an earlier age and they have need of a transplant or something because of what it's doing to their lungs. So really concerning, and I'll be supporting this motion. Councillor, we'll go Edwards and Guthrie.
Just the same, I've never heard of a vape detector, but thanks for bringing it up. It's good. What's actually, this is more a question, what's actually happening in the vape scene? Is I thought it had been banned.
Me too.
I thought vapes had been banned.
Two shops in Roma.
So, how come it's still existing?
Mr Mayor, can I'll raise, I'd rather not saying what I've found out, just what's going on in our town, but
Do it offline.
offline later on. I'll tell you what I found, well, what I heard.
But they have been banned, haven't they, I think?
Obviously not.
Okay.
And I do know people have been buying them by the box, you know.
Okay, so we're going to Councillor Guthrie, then O'Neill.
Can I just say, you nailed it, Mr Mayor, when you said it's unregulated, and it's appalling the how people are getting access to it and what is actually in the products that is not controlled and not regulated and not overseen by any medical or government body. It's just an open slather approach to flavour something and market it in such a way. My big issue is the fact that it's become such a major issues in schools, not just high schools, but we're talking all schools, and they're getting younger and younger and younger because they're so attractive and so well marketed. And it's taking a lot of attention in schools to actually be monitoring and dealing with a concern that teachers should be in classrooms teaching, not spending time trying to follow up who has vapes and where they're being used and all that. So to me, this is a really positive thing for not just Maranoa, but if we can get a letter written that then instigates then an approach further in other schools, I think it's a very positive thing. And I congratulate and applaud that you've actually put this on the agenda today, Councillor McMullen, because I think it's we should all be doing our very best to do something about it.
Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak to it, but just a suggested amendment to the Deputy Mayor that Council 1, as it is, up there, 2, share Council's correspondence with the Roma State College and St John's principals, so that they know that it's what we're doing.
All schools in the district.
Oh, well,
All schools.
And,
I'm happy with that, but it was raised in Roma, but all school principals within the Maranoa.
We had charitable people there and also.
Yeah.
I'll talk more later, but yeah.
But if
No, I'm happy with that though, yeah.
I'm going to support this. I was a stupid teenager once and I smoked, and I wish I never did, but I did, and smoked for far too long. And so if we can try and stop and advocate to put some parameters around schools with what is now the new problem in vaping, then we are fulfilling our duties as civic leaders in our community. There is a rise for it. My understanding is that the nicotine vapes are the ones that are illegal, and they're being imported, and you can purchase them evidently, but there's other vapes that are legal, which is unfortunate given there's been this huge push over such a long period of time to get people away from smoking cigarettes, and now we've got the next generation being accessed, being able to access these synthetic, essentially new cigarettes. So I support this, and if the government can step in and do what they need in the state schools, we need to be advocating to the private schools in our region too to do the same.
Councillor Burkett.
Mr Mayor, I can't believe you talk to older people around our age and they say, oh, if I'd only knew what smoking did to you, I wouldn't have took it up, and that's why they're still smoking. But they know what vapes do to you because it's only a new thing, but yet they still do it. And the worst thing is they mask it with the pretty smells and all that, and they're still not realising that if I'm doing it next to Councillor O'Neill, he's still copying that. I know through coaching football that the blokes try to sneak it in the dressing rooms, and it's no, like they don't realise because it's a pretty smell that they think it's all right. But I do think it is a problem, and I know monkey see, monkey do type thing, and you got kids that the parents smoke, they smoke. Well, it's the same with vape. They sneak their vapes and they take it, and you see 12 and 13-year-olds in a little group, and you know it is concerning. And I know hopefully, like Councillor O'Neill said, that they might be able to regulate it a bit more down the track. But yeah, they're fully supportive and they're appreciative that you brought it up.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? Does the Mayor wish to sum up?
No, Mr Mayor, I just agree with all the comments that have been made here, and I just hope we can get some action out of this.
Okay, on that note, we'll go to the vote. 8-0.
Now, Mr Mayor, before we go for lunch and save going back into open after, can I put a motion without notice on the closed agenda? So C3.
We've just also got.
Have you already got it, Kel? Righto. For me, Australia Day selection concerns, is that?
Okay, do we have a seconder?
Australia Day assessment processes.
Oh, yeah, that'll do. Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, I think Councillor Ladbrokes first. Okay, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. So that's on the agenda.
They're all open.
Closed item.
It's on as a closed item.
Yeah, it's closed. C3.
Yeah.
Is that, we've got no more open. But
Yeah, Mr Mayor, Councillor Taylor just 8.3, so.
And that was just about getting a GL number.
The GL number for the medical bursary, additional 20,000. Have we got that?
GL number for the bursary.
I think we do.
Because we could get that over and done with.
Yeah, for the check.
Some of those are closed.
closed day lunch.
We do closed day lunch.
During lunch.
No, we can't.
Well, it was just a thought.
Yeah.
She doesn't give me a GL, but she's basically just take.
Back over.
So we might have to chase up the GL and do it afterwards.
You do it.
Okay.
Have we stopped?
Right. We got a number.
W82465.
So just on 4, maybe that council request a report that identifies prominent medical personnel. You need something for it to come back.
Have we got the camera going?
I think so, yeah.
I mean,
Do I look in place?
You know, you look, I wouldn't say exceptional, but you look all right.
Request a report to an upcoming council meeting that identifies prominent, then it'll.
is there anyone in who's going to check that out? Prominent one.
Well, it'll be, imagine if it comes back by.
Maybe send in suggestions.
Dr. Borley Feather.
Yeah,
Ron
Feather.
Smith, Dr. Ron.
Why don't we have it as a, on that last briefing, we've got one more that we said on the 27th.
Fortnight from yesterday.
Yeah, have it on there to throw some names in. And then we could put a bit of a call out to.
Wouldn't you go to Queensland Health and
talk to Don, talk to Rosie, get some names coming through.
Some of the, like the old Borley Feather, he retired not when I wasn't very old, but he was very well known for saving babies and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think he'd be good.
Doc Wilson brought me in as well, so.
Yeah, but it's not that long ago.
Dr. Feather was there when I was born.
Yeah.
Was he there still? Yeah, I couldn't. Then Ron Smith took over.
Well, that's only 10 years before me. That's what I know.
We haven't started.
Why is it a WA
Yeah.
number, not a
Oh,
GL?
we're in it now.
I think we
Work order.
Oh, right.
Why is it a work order? It's just where the money
Because
is.
we've already got it. We've already got one in place.
I think you need to get a health board.
But I think, but anyway, let's,
Do we have enough money in there already, Edwina?
We've got 70 in there, and then we can just increase it, and then we'll just make sure that we take the savings out of the quarterly budget review.
Oh, I see.
Because we've got significant savings that'll come through.
You know, that research station that I was saying about yesterday, what would that be called?
No.
State fund.
We're on,
No, it's not.
we're on.
I've just gone Google
Yeah,
state
we're on.
research.
That's on the.
We can't talk about it.
Okay, we'll just pause while we're getting this motion. Successful recipient of the inaugural medical retention bursary endorsed by the panel and the Chief Executive Officer for Shireen Kumar. And 3, provide another discretion retention bursary for the amount of $20,000 to Sarah Paget on the grounds that retention of both doctors in the region is an important economic and social objective for the Maranoa. Funds drawn from work order 24695, scholarship program for medical students, and adjust the budget as part of the Q3 budget review for 2023-24. 4, request a report from upcoming council meeting that includes suggestions from councillors and community that identify prominent medical personnel who have served the Maranoa through the last 100 years as potential names for individuals to ensure a lasting legacy.
Do we mean individual awards, isn't it?
Individual
Awards,
for
sorry,
individual awards
to ensure a lasting.
to ensure lasting legacy and build the reputation of the bursaries. Okay, is the seconder happy with that? I think we have one, which is, no, we don't, yes, councillor.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I'll speak to this. Yeah, we had a very good meeting with the professionals that gave up their time to be involved, which is really heartening and very hard to split it. So we've got a great recommendation if council supports it. I think it's a great thing, and we've done this before where with different years where we've had more that we've tried to spread it out. So I think this is a great motion, and to recognise some of our very early pioneers, I think in medical sphere would be very, very beneficial. Also, I'd like to thank the panel and all of the medical professionals that gave their time up to be involved in the process, and was very heartening. And also some of the really positive social stories about how the Maranoa is a place that doctors want to come. So I really impressed that there's a camaraderie in the Maranoa, and we hope that this is a nice thank you and it's a support for growing that.
Now, I think we've already spoken to this.
Anyway, we've spoken again then. Does anyone else wish to speak?
I've spoken.
You've spoken?
Eloquently.
Councillor Ladd.
I think it's very good for the community, and if we can keep some doctors to stay, I think that is a big plus for the Maranoa.
Okay, no one else wishes to speak. We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, we got closed.
I move we go and close. Of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the following table provides the matter to be discussed, an overview of what is to be discussed while the meeting is closed. Agenda item C1, request for extension on payment arrangement 14002919. C2, request for payment arrangement 13003835. 13004486, 15004831, 15004922, 15005069, 15006646, 150066, 15006679, 15006687, 15010994, 15020814. C3, Australia Day selection assessment process.
Okay, we have a seconder, Councillor O'Neill. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, moving on to C2. C2, request for payment arrangement 13003835, 13004486, 15004831, 15004922, 15005069, 15006646, 15006661, 15006679, and 15006687, 15010994, and 15020894. Do we have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that Council 1 approve the applicant's proposed payment of 11 monthly payments of a minimum of $545,218.66, a total of $5,997,405.26 for outstanding rates and charges pertaining to rate assessments, request for payment arrangements 13003835, 13004486, 15004831, 15004922, 15005069, 15006646, 15006661, 15006679, 15006687, 15010994, 15020894, which will ensure the total amount is paid in full on or before the 31st of December 2024. 2, approve the applicant's proposed payment arrangements for outstanding rates and charges for the period of the 1st of the 7th 2023 to the 31st of the 12th 2023 for the amount of $1,769,453.66 relating to rate assessments, request for payment arrangements of 13003835, 13004486, 15004831, 15004922, 15005069, 15006646, 15006661, 15006679, 15006687, 15010994, 15020894 with payment to be made on or before the 28th of February 2024. And 3, approve the applicant's proposed payment for rates and charges for the period of the 1st of the 1st 2024 to the 30th of the 6th 2024 for payment of $1,769,453.66 relating to rate assessments, request for payment arrangements 13003835, 13004486, 15004831, 15004922, 15005069, 15006646, 15006661, 15006679, 15006687, 15010994, 15020894 with payment to be made on or before the due date of the 15th of March 2024. And 4, advise the rate paid that if a payment is missed, this arrangement will be automatically cancelled and the debt recovery process will recommence.
We have a seconder, Councillor Taylor. Does anyone wish to speak? I'm going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Okay, and then we've got the third one. C3, Australia Day Selection Assessment Process. Councillor Birkin.
I'd like to move the council receive and note the report.
Okay, we have a seconder, Councillor Ladbroke. Does anyone wish to speak? We're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? That's 8-0. Any further business? Okay, well, we'll close the meeting at 3:19 and thank you for your attendance.